If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's the day in between. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, the day after the first public impeachment hearing and the day before the next one.
Is attempted extortion and bribery a crime?
I don't know, sir.
Congressman Joaquin Castro crystallizing the Democrats' claim of President Trump's wrongdoing, temporarily withholding military aid, they say, to get Ukraine to investigate Joe and Hunter Biden. Castro was questioning Bill Taylor, the top diplomat in Ukraine, one of the first 2 witnesses, and Democrats are seizing on this.
Another phone call from President Trump that was overheard.
Last Friday, a member of my staff told me of events that occurred on July 26th. The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations.
Democrats calling it a bombshell, Republicans painting it as hearsay. The president was asked about it. He says first he's heard of it. We'll learn more next week when that person on the alleged call, Ambassador Sondland, testifies on Wednesday. But next up, former Ukrainian Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch tomorrow.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. Republicans keep insisting there is no crime, nothing impeachable. President Trump says
this is a sham and shouldn't be allowed.
And he said that while meeting with Turkey's president. Now, there's an update on an American ISIS fighter Turkey has been trying to send back here. Fox's Simon Owen has it live.
Dave, Turkey began a program to deport suspected ISIS members on Monday, starting with an American, but reports quickly began to emerge that that suspect had become stuck at Turkey's border with Greece, that the Greeks had denied him entry, and the man was left stranded in a no-man's land. Turkey's Interior Ministry now saying the US has agreed to take the suspect, and after being stranded for 3 days, he'll now be sent back to the United States. Dave?
Simon, a ceasefire that was supposed to end 2 days of Israeli-Palestinian fighting was breached a little while ago. Gaza militants firing more rockets across the border. The Israeli airstrikes took out a senior Islamic Jihad commander and more than 30 other Palestinians. Officials in Gaza say that includes 3 women and 8 kids. America's listening to Fox News.
26 degrees, 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Fire crews battling a huge blaze this morning on Chicago's south side. Fire broke out very early at the Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church near 59th and State. While no one is hurt, the church is severely damaged. Cause of the fire has not been released. Chicago firefighters continue to mop up hot spots at that church fire. A woman is in serious condition this morning, struck overnight by a Chicago police vehicle on the south side. Officers spoke to the woman last night near 71st and Jeffrey. As they were leaving, the woman's right leg somehow was stuck under the passenger side tire of the vehicle. The victim was hospitalized at the University of Chicago with injuries to her right leg and then head. Mayor Lightfoot accusing Uber of trying to pay off local ministers.
They offered up black ministers $54 million, a one-time deal, if they would convince the mayor to do away with any other kind of regulation.
The mayor claims the rideshare giant offered to pay the black ministers to help the company defeat her plan to hike taxes on single passenger rides offered by ride-hailing services. Lightfoot believes the attempted payoff didn't work, but she says the company will continue to try and stop her new rideshare fee structure from being part of the 2020 city budget. Meantime, Mayor Lightfoot is still waiting on legislation that would help Chicago get a casino.
It's critically important for the city because that revenues generated by a Chicago casino are designated for our police and fire pensions.
Illinois Senate President John Cullerton proposed some changes yesterday that would reduce the city and state taxes on a casino. However, Lightfoot still needs to win more support from House Democrats if a bill will make it out of the General Assembly before its scheduled adjournment today. The Illinois House approving Governor J.B. Pritzker's very controversial plan to consolidate hundreds of local pension programs covering police officers and firefighters to boost investment returns and save administrative costs. The legislation moves to the Senate with, again, just hours left in the fall session. Chicago Teachers Union begins voting today on whether to accept the tentative contract agreement reached last month with CPS. To become final, the contract must be ratified by union members, then adopted by the Board of Education. 5:04 on AM 560. Bond denied for a man accused of killing his father earlier this week in Des Plaines. Martin Lomelli Jr. appeared in Cook County Court yesterday on murder charges in the shooting death of Martin Chavez. Police say officers found the father dead on the bedroom floor in the Town and Country Mobile Home Park Monday morning after suffering multiple gunshot wounds. Officials say the death of an 80-year-old Chicago man whose body was found on the floor of a garage is the second cold-related death of the season. County Medical Examiner's office determined the man actually died of heart disease, but that exposure to cold contributed to his death. A Chicago man is in custody this morning, awaiting sentencing conferences in a rash of thefts of iPhones from an Apple store in north suburban Milwaukee. 17-year-old Terrence Beeks was among several suspects involved in a string of robberies from the Glendale store. Beeks has pleaded not guilty to the charges. The Salvation Army's bell-ringing campaign is already benefiting from the generosity of the Chicago area. Last Friday, an anonymous donor dropped in the first Gold Eagle coin of the season into a red kettle at a Hobby Lobby in Crystal Lake. Coin is worth between $1,200 and $1,500. Blackhawks rally from an early 2-0 deficit, scoring 5 straight goals in a 5-3 win over the Golden Knights in Vegas. It was the Blackhawks' first ever win over the team from Vegas. College basketball last night, Northwestern knocked off Providence 72-63, and UIC fell to Ball State. Mets starter Jacob deGrom and Astros starter Justin Verlander, your 2019 Major League Baseball Cy Young Award winners. The news service of T-Mobile, with data and texting included in over 200 countries and destinations. T-Mobile for business keeps you connected at the corner coffee shop or a cafe halfway around the world. Business is changing. Are you with them? Visit T-Mobile.com/business. 5:06. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always looks at things from a different angle.
I was speaking to my producer, and he asked the question, will Americans tire of the left's hysterias? I think that when you have hysteria that is national and mass, and it is, of course, repeated constantly, it has an impact.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At TermBusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call TermBusters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire.
5:09 this morning. It's not a bad not morning on the roads. Things are okay, I think, in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Jim Telemonte.
On Chicago's South Side, firefighters have extinguished a blaze and put out a still-in-box alarm at 58th and State. On the expressways and tollways, Eisenhower outbound. The exit ramp to the outbound Kennedy is set to reopen. That's Ida B. Wells and the outbound light coming out of downtown. That ramp again is closed but should open shortly. Inbound Ryan, the entrance ramp from 18th Street, set to reopen after an overnight closure. The overnight work on the Ryan between Skyway and 69th is wrapping up. I-57 outbound. Work at the two left lanes, Calisag Channel to Sibley, 6 this morning. The other expressways, the good tollway traffic's light. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Partly sunny. It'll be cold today, high 34. Clear and cold tonight with a low 20. A sunny, cold day tomorrow, the high 38. For Saturday, mostly cloudy skies and the high once again at 38. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
26 at O'Hare, 28 Lakefront, 27 Midway, 26 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can call Crumweedy. Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy, call Crumweedy. That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
This Thanksgiving, think outside the oven with a brand new grill from the Ace Thanks Grilling event this Saturday, November 16th from 11 to 2. Head to your local Ace for great deals, giveaways, and turkey grilling demos, showcasing our top brands like Traeger, Weber, Big Green Egg, and more. Plus, get free assembly and delivery on grills $3.99 and up. Don't miss the Thanks Grilling event this Saturday from 11 to 2 at your local Ace. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions. Free assembly and delivery for Ace Rewards members valid through December 24th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Napa know-how.
Now at Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Buy a 2-pack of Night Vision Brilliant headlamps and get a pair of ProFormer wiper blades free. Because when you put safety first, your equipment shouldn't be second rate. So upgrade to Napa Night Vision Brilliant headlamps and get a pair of ProFormer wiper blades free. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Some restrictions apply while supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/19.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Every Saturday morning at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Did House Democrats make their case? An important first day in the impeachment hearings.
Historic. This is a moment in time, Dan.
Well, it is.
Everybody drop what you're doing. You can't watch The Price is Right. You can't watch The View. You shall watch this.
Well, it is historic in the sense that it happens. This is happening for the fourth time in American history. But
last time 20 years ago.
So with respect to the House Democrats, they had their first two witnesses. These are important witnesses. That's why they led. Offer much double hearsay to help the Democrats make out a state of mind case against the president with two people who've never met the president. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. State of mind case against the president, which is what this is, interpreting the transcript and trying to provide circumstantial evidence in support of one argument or the other. And you start with two guys. And by the way, I think Kent and Taylor, as advertised, are professional Foreign Service officers. I don't think that they were trying to gore any partisan axis per se. I think they're part of the sort of foreign policy deep state establishment. I mean, both have been in the Foreign Service for a long time. And so that's going to color their views on things, including how things should be done, the way they've always been done. And Trump's not that guy. But I'm not offended by what Taylor or Kent said, because I think for the most part they stayed within the four corners of what they knew. Fine.
Yeah, but they brought new information that they didn't talk about the first time that they were questioned. And that was about a second phone call that took place the next day after the first phone call between Sondland and President Trump. And here's Bill Taylor explaining what he heard from a friend who heard from a friend.
The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations. Ambassador Sondland told President Trump the Ukrainians were ready to move forward. Following the call with President Trump, the member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden.
And that aide that Bill Taylor is talking about, who heard the conversation between Sondland, is going to testify behind closed doors tomorrow. So it's another hearsay situation, which he said he learned of this phone. Bill Taylor said he learned of this phone call just last week between Sondland and President Trump, the day after the original phone call. Just pressing that he wants that, his political rivals investigated in Ukraine. Uh-huh. That was the smoking gun yesterday. That was the big
This is all of a kind that was covered by Jim Jordan's exchange with Bill Taylor. The genesis of his clear understanding of what the president was attempting to do, a clear understanding he derived from double hearsay.
All right. So again, just to recap, you had 3 meetings with President Zelensky. No linkage in those 3 meetings came up. Ambassador Zelensky didn't announce that he was going to do any investigation of the Bidens or Burismas before the aid was released. He didn't do a tweet, didn't do anything on CNN, didn't do any of that. President Zelensky, excuse me. Right. And then what you have in front of you is an addendum that Mr. Sondland made to his testimony that we got a couple weeks ago. It says, Declaration of Ambassador Gordon Sondland. I, Gordon Sondland, do hereby swear and affirm as follows. I want you to look at point number 2, bullet point number 2, second sentence. Ambassador Taylor recalls that Mr. Morrison told Ambassador Taylor that I told Mr. Morrison that I conveyed this message to Mr. Yarmak on September 1st, 2019 in connection with Vice President Pence's visit to Warsaw and a meeting with President Zelensky. Now, this is his clarification. Let me read it one more time. Ambassador Taylor recalls that Mr. Morrison told Ambassador Taylor that I told Mr. Morrison that I conveyed this message to Mr. Yarmak on September 1st, 2019 in connection with Vice President Pence's visit to Warsaw and a meeting with President Zelensky. We got 6 people having 4 conversations in one sentence, and you just told me this is where you got your clear understanding. Which, I mean, even though you had 3 opportunities with President Zelensky for him to tell you, you know what? We're going to do these investigations to get the aid. Didn't tell you 3 different times. Never makes an announcement, never tweets about it, never does a CNN interview. Ambassador, you weren't on the call, were you? You didn't listen on President Trump's call and President Zelensky's call?
I did not.
You've never talked with Chief of Staff Mulvaney?
I never did.
You never met the president?
That's correct.
You had 3 meetings again with Zelensky and it didn't come up.
And 2 of those they had never heard about, as far as I know.
And President
There was no reason for it to
President
come up.
Zelensky never made an announcement. This is what I can't believe. And you're their star witness. You're their first witness. You're the guy. You're the guy based on this. I mean, I've seen church prayer chains that are easier to understand than this.
I love that line. That was good.
Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I got to tell you, guys, I was confused. I didn't know if I was watching Gilligan's Island or the actual event, because this was one hell of a scenario when you have someone telling you that hearsay evidence sometimes is much, much better than direct evidence. How in the world can anybody take any of this serious?
Well, but to be fair to Froggy from the Rascals, who you're referring to, I mean, nobody takes Mike Quigley seriously as a congressman. So why should we start now? Thanks for the call, Dan.
Good.
Vince in Waukegan.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. Yeah, if President Trump had asked President Zelensky to investigate the Biden's corruption here in America, that might be an impeachable offense. But when you're asking a foreign government to investigate corruption in their own country, that is not an impeachable offense.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Vince.
Certainly not a crime.
Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Hey, Dan and Amy, the big takeaway for me is those people, when one of them was asked about what you're doing here kind of thing and everything did, and about it being a impeachable offense, the guy sat there and he was all stumbling around and everything, and he said, I'm not afraid of it. Those 2 yahoos got dragged in there by Shifty Schiff and everything like that, and basically, I don't even think they wanted to be there and everything like that, but they opened their mouth, giving some kind of, saying some things that Schiff thought he could use and everything, and it was pretty clear that that's what it was. And hey, for the Shifty Schiff and them Democrats to take and ruin the relationship between all these people that are supposed to surround the president and be true to him and be carry out his duty. That's the big takeaway here. How a president of the United States can't even trust those people around him because you got the Democrats encouraging them to be traitors. Really, they're just traitors to the president.
All right, Craig, thanks. So here's the thing. Taylor was afforded a response to Jim Jordan's summation of what Taylor had offered. And he said this.
The only response, I have 2 responses, Mr. Chairman, thank you, and Mr. Jordan. Glad to take those questions. Let me just say that I don't consider myself a star witness for anything.
They do. You don't.
No, I don't. I'm responding to your question. Please don't interrupt the witness. As I think I was clear about, I'm not here to take one side or the other or to advocate any particular outcome. So let me just restate that. Second thing is that my understanding is only coming from people that I talk to.
We got that.
We got that. And I think this clarification from Ambassador Sondland was because he said he didn't remember this in his first deposition. So he wanted to kind of clarify. But I think, Mr. Jordan, the way I read this, he remembers it the same way I do.
Yeah, and it's real clear, right?
It's very clear to me.
Thank you, Ambassador Taylor.
Yeah. Well, the problem that Taylor has is what his clear understanding was turned out not to be the case. I mean, that's the other problem. His clear understanding from his conversations with the people he knows turned out not to be true because his clear understanding was the president was engaged in some sort of quid pro quo. Sondland told him he talked to the president. There was no quid pro quo. That's what Trump said to Sondland, as Sondland repeated to Taylor. So if we're going to use everything that Bill Taylor obtained from talking to people like Ambassador Sondland, then we have to use all of it, don't we? So your clear understanding was wrong. What you said was happening didn't happen on either side of it. That seems to me a particularly difficult issue for the Democrats to tackle. And so Dana Milbank over at the Washington Post, this was interesting. Summing up the case against President Trump in 7 words, Dana Milbank, who's just awful, I stipulate. 7 words. He abused presidential powers for personal advantage. He abused presidential powers for personal advantage. That's the Democrats' case in 7 words. Was there evidence of that presented?
No.
Yesterday?
And they got their aid. And yesterday we heard how important the aid to Ukraine is.
Jim and Palatine.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to say that this whole thing is just another indication that these Democrats are just trying to make Donald Trump's presidency a non-factor, and it's ridiculous. They haven't done anything for the American people. It's embarrassing.
Thanks for the call.
And millions have watched yesterday because we had no choice, but some wanted to watch. And President Trump didn't. He sat that one out.
I hear it's a joke. I haven't watched. This is a sham and shouldn't be allowed. It's all third-hand information, nothing direct at all. It can't be direct because I never said it.
And he was very calm yesterday. Did you notice that? He wasn't tweeting a lot. He was just...
You think people? I would love to see like an EKG on the audience drop off about halfway through George Kent's opening statement. It's so exciting until you actually have to try and get through it. For most people who don't follow this on a daily basis, the way that we do, I mean, you need a scorecard to understand all of the names that are being bandied about, and much less any context to those names. You think most people ever heard of George Kent or Bill Taylor up until the last couple of weeks?
One lady I was sitting next to at East Bank Club in the women's locker room thought that was a whistleblower. I go, no, that's not.
Exactly.
This is what he heard from his aide, who heard from overhearing a cell phone call that was made in Ukraine from the president.
There's another important point to be made here, too. Nobody reads anymore. That's passé. I get it. But most of the innumerable hours of testimony was memorialized in the transcripts that have been released. So what this is, and you cannot forget, is a show trial by House Democrats to try to persuade the American people through some pontification. And, and obviously people receive information differently when they see it versus when they read it. You get emotion and so forth. You can size people up. Nunchi. But we already have virtually all the information that was offered yesterday. So now they're actors redoing the testimony that they provided behind closed doors and off camera. I mean, just don't forget that. We have this information. We've had it.
Right.
Tony on the South Side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. My Lammy Lamb. Has anybody noticed that Schiff is a striking resemblance to Andy Kaufman's character, foreign man Latka Gravis from Taxi? I lost all respect for this guy. I'd never seen him before actually doing his thing, but when I was watching that stuff yesterday, I couldn't stop thinking about Andy Kaufman. That's all.
Yeah, that's interesting, Tony.
They do look related.
When his eyes bug out, when the eyes bug out, there is a little bit of Andy Kaufman. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, nice. Well, Tony's very observant. Remember, he coined the term Tangerine Jesus.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. As the House gets started with public hearings on impeachment, we should start thinking of how this partisan impeachment will play out if it reaches the Senate. I've been leaning on the insight of Kelly Johnston, a former Secretary of the Senate. He says a critical moment will arise as soon as any articles arrive in the Senate, but before any substantive proceedings occur. Under rules, the Senate must approve a motion to proceed to consider the articles. At the first sign of objection from a senator, McConnell should move to shut the whole thing down, saying effectively, this far and no farther. We will not put our nation at risk of a future littered with these sort of vendettas dressed up in the garb of impeachment. We won't ever approve a purely partisan article of impeachment for trial. And thus the Senate would flush these articles of impeachment from the record as it stands today. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
The Pepperdine Graduate School of Public Policy, impacting policy decisions today.
Hey, doors or windows sticking, uneven floors, new cracks in your drywall. Does any of this sound familiar? Many homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana are experiencing the symptoms of structural issues. Are you aware these indicators can be signs of damage to your home's foundation? Well, all too often homeowners pay an expensive consultation fee just to determine the problem. Don't be one of them. Just call Permaseal today, 800-421-SEAL, a certified structural consultant, will thoroughly evaluate your foundation and offer you a permanent solution at absolutely no charge. For over 40 years, Permaseal has been committed to providing quality, proven products, and the superior customer service that you deserve. Hey, when the work is done, you'll have a transferable warranty along with priceless peace of mind. You know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
You've heard Remke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Remke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Remke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Remke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remkes, REMKES, garage.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up the impeachment theater with John Ratcliffe and the important point that that Republican congressman made as it pertains to Ukrainian President Zelensky at 5:38.
And later, the Democratic field is about to get bigger. We'll tell you who is in and why. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
26 degrees. Skies are cloudy. Public hearings underway in the Trump Democrat-led impeachment inquiry. Wednesday's hearing lasted about 5.5 hours and featured testimony from 2 veteran diplomats. Our legal analyst Bill Portanova says the participants did not follow any rules of evidence.
They don't care whether it's hearsay on hearsay. They don't care whether a document has been properly established as a truthful document. And that is a mess because you'll never get to the bottom of any factual situation when everybody is allowed to just give their opinion.
The former federal prosecutor says 100% of Wednesday's testimony would be inadmissible in a federal or state court, and the evidence is not clarifying, he believes, anything. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff opened the hearing accusing the president of having Ukraine investigate Democrats.
Questions presented by this impeachment inquiry are whether President Trump sought to exploit that ally's vulnerability and invite Ukraine's interference in our elections.
Acting U.S. Ukraine Ambassador Bill Taylor says a member of his staff overheard the president ask another diplomat about the status of investigations.
Mr. Morrison told me that the call could have been better and that President Trump had suggested that President Zelensky or his staff meet with Mr. Giuliani.
Utah GOP Representative Chris Stewart says the case against the president yesterday was propped up by zero evidence.
If your impeachment case is so weak that you have to lie and exaggerate about it to convince the American people that they need to remove this president, then you've got a problem.
The next hearing is set for week's end, featuring testimony from ousted U.S. Ukraine Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch. A recount of votes in the Kentucky governor's race set to begin later today. Another parent going to prison for his role in the college admissions scandal, former real estate executive Toby McFarland. Islamic Jihad has agreed to a ceasefire with Israel. The Egyptian brokered ceasefire was agreed upon early this morning after 34 have been killed in Gaza by air attacks and 63 Israelis severely hurt in rocket attacks from Gaza. The death toll for wildfires raging across Australia's most populous state, New South Wales, has risen to 4 as authorities warn of worsening weather conditions to come and 60 fires burning uncontained. Fire crews are battling a blaze on Chicago's south side, mopping up at the Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church near 59th and State. And a woman is in serious condition. She was struck by a Chicago police vehicle near 71st and Jeffrey last night. The news service of T-Mobile. Data and texting included in over 200 countries and destinations. It's T-Mobile for Business that keeps you connected at the corner coffee shop or a cafe halfway around the world. Business is changing. Are you with them? Visit T-Mobile.com/business. 534. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity is beginning to get angry.
It is getting really, really, really difficult to hold back what is just an anger that I have at what the mob and the media and the Democrats, they are so detached from any objective truth, honesty, and common sense reason. They're void of all of it.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
10, 15, 20, 30-year term, whole life, universal life, index universal life, variable universal life, long-term care. Are you confused yet? No need to be. For nearly 3 decades, Northern Resource Group has assisted families and businesses understand the maze of insurance and safe money choices. Then, after careful analysis of your needs, they shop and search every leading company to find the best products and services for your family or business. Whether it's tax advantage policies, living benefits, simple term insurance, or something else, Northern Resource Group excels in selection, underwriting, and service. Call Chicagoland-based Northern Resource Group to receive your free, valuable, all-life report. It's packed with educational and easy-to-understand information. Call toll-free 888-762-8020 or visit northernresourcegroup.com. Northern Resource Group, Chicagoland's insurance and safe money professionals. That's 888-762-8020 or online at northernresourcegroup.com. Again, that number, 888-762-8020.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
537 AM 560 traffic center time and Jim Telemonte.
In Highland Park on southbound 41 at half day 22, its right lane is blocked due to a water main break. Niles, there's a collision at the intersection of Howard and Caldwell. South side of Chicago, State Street is blocked off 58th and 59th after a fire at Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church. Edens looks fine, Kennedy as well. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower. Inbound Stevenson traffic's getting congested around Pulaski. Inbound Ryan, got about a 2-minute delay from 35th Street to the Stevenson. I-57 is fine. Bishop Ford, traffic slow from 111th to the Verge. It's 19 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Tollway traffic moves fine. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cold day ahead, partial sunshine. We may get over the freezing mark today. We'll top it out at 34 by the afternoon. 26 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy trying to answer some of the big questions that remain after day one of the impeachment theater. We talked a little bit about the case that the Democrats are making. It's a state of mind case that they're making with at least their initial two witnesses who've never met nor spoken with the president and are relying on hearsay, in some cases double and triple hearsay, to inform their clear understanding of what the president was doing, even though that clear understanding turned out not to be the case. Another big question for me is who do you think did the best acting job yesterday?
Oh.
Was it the drag queen Pissy Miles pretending to be a woman, or Mike Quigley pretending to be a lawyer?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.com. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Mike Quigley,
Froggy.
He was
my congressman, man. He was wearing green?
He was finally allowed to speak after all the other little rascals had their turn at the wheel. And he wanted to make the point, because so many Republicans had made the point, all we have here is hearsay evidence. What I said initially, probably halfway through the hearings, the case the Democrats are making would not survive a summary judgment motion if this were a court of law. Not even close. But okay, most of the testimony wouldn't be admitted because it doesn't qualify under any hearsay exception. And this is why there was a moment between John Ratcliffe, former federal prosecutor, and Adam Schiff, who also pretends to be an attorney, that whether or not we're using the federal rules of evidence here. Because if we're using the federal rules of evidence, then I'm going to start questioning whether this testimony should be taken. You have to give me a federal rules 803 hearsay exception to admit this statement or that statement. Of course, Schiff demurred on that question. But here's Quigley responding to the Republicans' criticism of the lack of direct evidence.
And if I guess to close primer on hearsay, I think the American public needs to be reminded that countless people have been convicted on hearsay because the courts have routinely allowed and created needed exceptions to hearsay. Hearsay can be much better evidence than direct, as we have learned in painful instances, and it's certainly valid in this instance.
Well, gentlemen, yield because none of those exceptions would apply to this testimony.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the difference there, Froggy.
Yeah. Now go back to the clubhouse and
Well, get
play
off your
with
booster
alfalfa.
seat. No, we got to get off the booster seat first.
Mike in Union, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I got two takeaways from yesterday. The minute they were introduced to speaking in the microphone, you could clearly tell by the looks on their faces that they were so happy to be there. Secondly, to pretend that they weren't trying to be partisan, it was just a bunch of crap. They knew exactly what this was, and I feel this is nothing more than them just trying to take back what the power they had before in negotiations for foreign policy. That's all this is. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, it wasn't as much pushback as I expected on the matter of the real problem here is a policy disagreement, a disagreement over protocols coming from the White House that run afoul of the customary way of doing things. And so you decided that something nefarious was afoot because you don't like the way President Trump conducts foreign policy, even though Taylor did admit, and so Kent has the same position, that they're very supportive of the fact that Ukraine was provided the military aid that they couldn't get under the previous administration.
Right. President Obama did not give Ukraine any military aid. And Taylor went into great detail about how when they were there in Kiev, how a soldier was killed and one is killed every week. And, he got into the need for the aid, but the aid was never withheld. They got their aid.
Well, it was withheld for 55 days, but there's all sorts of legitimate bases to do that. And this is the crux of it, right? And so the argument is that it was done on an illegitimate basis. But if it was being done on an illegitimate basis, then why was it released before Trump got what he allegedly really wanted? And why would Zelensky repeatedly say that that wasn't the case, that he wasn't under any pressure, that that's not what Trump really wanted? So at least so much so that it was going to jeopardize the aid. And this is the point that John Ratcliffe made. I thought this was a really compelling point because he set it up nicely, as a prosecutor would. Do you, Kent, Taylor, do you believe that Ukrainian President Zelensky is an honorable man? Is he the real deal when it comes to reform? Do you believe that he is a man of integrity? And they both essentially said yes. Well, if you do, then explain this to me.
The Ukrainian president stood in front of the world press and repeatedly, consistently, over and over again, interview after interview, said he had no knowledge of military aid being withheld, meaning no quid pro quo, no pressure, no demands, no threats, no blackmail, nothing corrupt. And unlike the first 45 minutes that we heard from the Democrats today, that's not secondhand information. It's not hearsay. It's not what someone overheard Ambassador Sondland say. That was his direct testimony. Ambassador Taylor, do you have any evidence to assert that President Zelensky was lying to the world press when he said those things? Yes or no?
Mr. Ratcliffe, if I can respond.
My time is short.
Your time
yes
is
or no?
short. That's right. I have no reason to doubt what the president said and in his.
Okay, very good.
And so Ratcliffe's closing argument on this matter?
I think everyone knows that House Democrats have made up their mind to impeach one president. The question that we've just learned is whether or not they're prepared to impeach two. Because to be clear, if House Democrats impeach President Trump for a quid pro quo involving military aid, they have to call President Zelensky a liar. If they impeach him for abusing his power or pressuring or making threats or demands, they have to call President Zelensky a liar to do it. If they impeach President Trump for blackmail or extortion or making threats or demand, they have to call President Trump a liar to do it.
I thought that was a great point. You want to impeach one president, then you have to impeach two. The guy that you say is a man of integrity, is the real deal when it comes to fighting corruption in a historically corrupt country, is lying to the world. Pre and post military aid. He's a liar. Is that what you're saying? And the way that Schiff and the Democrats try to buttress their case, because of course they can't call Zelensky a liar, which is a great corner that Ratcliffe painted them in, is to say, well, he can't tell the truth because it would jeopardize the relationship. It would jeopardize future aid and so on and so forth. The implication was that, he can't say what he knows to be true. So then, so President Zelensky is not a courageous man. He won't say what he knows to be true. Is that your testimony? Adam Schiff, because that's who was testifying on the matter. It's not a strong case they make out. In addition to that, now we're not even in the realm of hearsay. Now we're in we're going to divine what people are thinking. Here's what President Trump was thinking, even though these two guys never met or talked to him. Here's what President Zelensky's thinking, even though I've never had a conversation with him about this. And ignore everything he said publicly. Ignore what he has and hasn't done in the context of the allegations of what he had to do in order to get the aid, which he didn't do. I know what's in his mind, says Adam Schiff. Mike in Griffith, Indiana.
Good morning,
Hey,
Dan. How you doing?
Morning.
I just wanted to say my take on it yesterday was Taylor kind of reminded me of what Mueller left over in the bathroom, and they molded him. And then Quigley, after he got done, I said, he must be from Illinois. And, of course, that's all hearsay.
All right. Thanks, Mike. I don't know about that Mueller part. Yeah. Again, Taylor and Kent, I thought that, they were on point. They were restrained. I didn't hear a lot of political pandering. I didn't hear them make statements that were outside of their realm of knowledge.
Well, Eric Swalwell was trying to, find out what their political means were.
Mr. Kent, are you a never Trumper?
I am a career non-professional who serves whatever president is duly elected, and I've done that for 27 years for 3 Republican presidents and 2 Democrat presidents.
Ambassador Taylor, are you a never Trumper?
No, sir.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, that was just silly. So stipulated, Eric Swalwell. I know he's apparently an attorney and was a local prosecutor.
Yeah, I cannot believe he was a prosecutor.
Can somebody tell Eric Swalwell what so stipulated means? I don't think he knows the legal jargon. Yeah, right. I get it. Kent and Taylor are professional Foreign Service officers, and their testimony doesn't offend me. They are telling Congress what they know to be true and the basis on which they know it to be true, and also the bases for their interpretations of what they thought was true. It just turns out that what, for example, Bill Taylor thought was true wasn't true.
And, well, Devin Nunes had a nice way of saying hi to Kenton Taylor.
I'd like to congratulate you for passing the Democrat Star Chamber auditions held for the last weeks in the basement of the Capitol. It seems you agreed, witting or unwittingly, to participate in a drama. But the main performance, the Russia hoax, has ended, and you've been cast in the low-rent Ukrainian sequel.
Yeah, the low-rent Ukrainian sequel. That was a fun line. And he's right. Sequels usually disappoint.
Right. Oh, they do. You're right.
But
was there ever a sequel that was better than the original, Dan? Because you're a movie buff.
Yes, I think there is such a... Yeah,
Do you
there's definitely... I'm going to think about that and come back to it. But on the point of Taylor and Kent, with respect to what Devin Nunes said, it's not wittingly or unwittingly. I mean, I want to be fair to them, too. They were subpoenaed.
Right. They didn't really have a choice.
They were subpoenaed, and that's why they testified. So I think, and then to be fair to Nunes, he's not really speaking to them. He's speaking to House Democrats through them and through characterizing what the clown show was. That's all. Chip in St. Charles.
The whole thing reminded me of the scene in Animal House where they said that the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. You know, why don't they just go ahead and take the impeachment vote? We all know what they want to do. It's a kangaroo court, and it's already decided what's going to be done. So just do it, guys. Just do it, Democrats. Take the vote, get it over with, spare the American people.
All right, thanks for the call, Chip. This is going to be arguable, but I'm just trying to search the recesses of my brain. I'm going to say Lord of the Rings, Return of the King was better.
Oh, okay.
Also take your calls. You can always go off on these tangents. Sequels that were better than the original, including, we'll include the low-rent Ukrainian version of impeachment.
Okay.
Is this better or worse so far than the Russian collusion investigation? Kelly in Montgomery.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, good morning. One question that should have been asked of Mr. Kent and Mr. Taylor is, are they a member of the deep state as opposed to anti-Trumpers? Because I think the deep state factor here is much more critical in determining their motivations as far as why they're testifying in front of Congress.
Okay, thanks for the call, Kelly. Although I would, they're going to respond by saying, I don't, deep state, I'm, a Foreign Service officer who's, and Kent will go through his 27-year CV, which he did in his opening statement, and probably invoke his ancestors who were also Foreign Service officers in the process, and I'm sure Taylor would say the same thing. Yeah, I mean, there was a moment, though, where and we haven't gotten to this yet, but all of the discussion back and forth about Hunter and Joe Biden, but particularly Hunter and Burisma. Mm-hmm. And there was a moment where George Kent said something, maybe it's a slip of the tongue, maybe I'm being too idiosyncratic, but I thought it was illustrative. They're talking about Joe Biden's visits to Ukraine when he was vice president and putting pressure on Ukraine to fire a prosecutor and otherwise being involved in their domestic politics. And George Kent said that vice president's involvement in Ukraine, his engagement there, was critical to our foreign policy, was critical to implementing our foreign policy. And so my follow-up to that for clarification, and I know what he would say, but it would still be instructive to hear. Mr. Kent, is it your foreign policy, or is it the implementation of the president's foreign policy, regardless of who that president is? Because there definitely is an element here of Trump rankling the foreign policy establishment that, yes, is bipartisan or post-partisan in nature. George Kent serving 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats or whatever. Yes, we get it. The permanent foreign policy establishment, like the permanent bureaucracy, that doesn't absolve you from politics or groupthink. And it doesn't absolve you from being engaged in a fifth column action against a president who isn't part of and doesn't defer to that long-standing foreign policy establishment. And it was interesting Republicans chose, at least on day one, not to go down that path. it would be illuminating, I think. But by the same token, I thought Republicans focus on the fact that these two individuals have their opinions and have their disagreements with the president, but ultimately they were very supportive of the outcome, and they've never met the guy, they've never spoken with the guy, and this is a state of mind case based on conversations they had with the people. In other words, no direct evidence and suppositions based on conversations that turned out not to be true. John in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you know, as an attorney, you do not call a witness unless you think they're going to bolster your position. So how did Adam Schiff know beforehand, before the subpoenas, before the private testimony, that these two would say stuff that would bolster their position unless there was some kind of prearranged meetings or anything of that nature?
Yeah, interesting question. I mean, thanks for the call.
Didn't the whistleblower give information about others who heard the conversation?
Well, right, but he wasn't specific.
Okay.
But, right, the whistleblower, and then you start to look at, well, I mean, Bill Taylor is the charge d'affaires in Ukraine. George Kent is Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Ukrainian Affairs. So, you know, it's a small community of people that you're reviewing when it comes to people that were either on the call or people that had day-to-day responsibilities with respect to U.S.-Ukrainian policy.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing from people who are on the call. Like Sondland's going to testify next Wednesday, and Taylor's aide, who heard this second call that the mainstream media has their hair on fire about, his name is David Holmes, and he's going to testify tomorrow behind closed doors, though.
And then,
I thought there's all this transparency, and now it's not so transparent.
Well, they got to pre-qualify him, and depending on how well he does, Schiff will first leak the transcript, and then he'll be whistled in for a public hearing.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Christopher Nowak, a real estate agent with Castline Properties here in Chicago. We had a really complex deal. Zach Schwartz at Townstone was willing to pick up the phone while he was on vacation in Florida to make sure that this deal got done. Because the one thing that Townstone really focuses on is attention to their clients, attention to their customers, making sure they get the absolute best customer experience possible.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Is this your situation? Cellular or data services are bad inside your building or vehicle? People notice. People complain. This is Kelly Piles. My company is PC Net Services. We can fix that annoying problem. Resolving this is not as complicated or as expensive as you might think, but it does make a difference. I have worked with the largest cellular providers in the nation. We could approve your cellular and data signal inside your building with all major carriers. No more dropped calls, no more complaints. First responders, government agencies, and business owners have used us to get a better signal inside their building. We can do the same for you. PCNet Services, a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business connecting you to the world.
Get better cell service in your building, no matter which carrier. For a free analysis, call PCNet Services, 815-545-4439. 815-545-4439. Is your child falling behind academically? Is he overwhelmed, distracted, or unable to focus? Does your daughter lack confidence? It's not too late to consider the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers. For 135 years, St. John's Northwestern has prepared teens for college and beyond within a safe, secure, and structured environment, free from distractions and optimal for learning. St. John's Northwestern attracts teens grades 7 through 12 who are capable of achieving more, but need guidance and encouragement to get there. They inspire personal growth through a commitment to academic, spiritual, and character development. athletics, and a strong foundation essential for critical thinking and decision making. St. John's Northwestern is in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin, within driving distance of Chicago. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET, 1-800-SJ-CADET, or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. Leadership lives here.
Are you looking for the perfect gift? I hope you'll check out Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. I love these guys. Mike Gallagher here at Roland's. Not only do they care about making America great again, they also care about making your holiday moments memorable. You know, buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the go-to place. You're going to see why when you visit RolandsJewelers.com or head to downtown Libertyville to work with them in person. It's no hassle. They'll show you pieces from the top designers, Simon G. with beautiful pendants. The Hearts on Fire diamond earrings are a great choice. Italian designer Roberto Coin's collection is gorgeous. Ken over at Roland's is offering up to $500 for AM 560 The Answer listeners. Not just for jewelry, but luxury timepieces, like the watch I wear from Roland's, Shinola, or Longines, or Tag Heuer. Your choice. Roland's Jewelers makes your gift giving easy. RolandsJewelers.com. Let them help you in store in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers is a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
He's late, but he's running. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Another Democrat has just joined the race for president, Deval Patrick.
This time is about more than removing an unpopular and divisive leader, as important as that is, but about delivering instead for you.
Deval Patrick's a former Massachusetts governor, entering the day before the deadline to file in New Hampshire, the first primary state. Ex-New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg also considering joining this race. President Trump's again calling impeachment a scam and a sham. Democrats claim his attempt to get Ukraine to investigate 2016 and Joe Biden and son amounts to bribery or extortion. This after the first public hearing.
Career diplomats George Kent and Bill Taylor answered questions in public after testifying behind closed doors last month. But between those two sessions, Taylor, the top diplomat in Ukraine, told the House Intelligence Committee he learned something new.
A member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations. Ambassador Sondland told President Trump the Ukrainians were ready to move forward.
Taylor says that call occurred in July, a day after President Trump spoke with Ukraine's president.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern.
Vote. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit refused a
26 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Fire crews are mopping up after a huge blaze on Chicago's South Side broke out early this morning near 59th and State in the Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church. No one is hurt. The church is severely damaged. A woman in serious condition. She was struck by a Chicago police vehicle on the south side. Authorities say officers spoke to the woman last night near 71st and Jeffrey. As officers were leaving, somehow the woman's right leg was tangled under the passenger side tire of the vehicle. The victim was taken to the University of Chicago Hospital with injuries to her right leg and head. Mayor Lightfoot is accusing Uber of paying off local ministers.
They offered up black ministers $54 million, a one-time deal, if they would convince the mayor to do away with any other kind of regulation.
Lightfoot believes the company will continue to try and stop her new rideshare fee structure from being part of the 2020 city budget. Uber denies the mayor's allegations. The Illinois House has approved Governor J.B. Pritzker's very controversial plan to consolidate hundreds of local pension programs covering police and firefighters to boost investment returns, he says, and save administrative costs. The legislation, though, moves to the Senate with only 1 day left, a few hours in the fall veto session. A bill aimed at capping the cost of insulin is headed back to the Illinois Senate today. After being passed by the state House, the proposed bill would cap the price of insulin at $100 for a 30-day supply. Blackhawks rally from an early 2-0 deficit, scoring 5 straight, picking up a 5-3 win over the Golden Knights of Vegas. College basketball, Northwestern a winner over Providence, 72-63. The news service of Indeed.com, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR pros post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media wants to divide Americans into neat little groups, and they want you to believe that everyone in each of those groups thinks alike. John Anthony and Charles Love are here to blow up that lie. Join them for Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. when they expose the lies of the media and the hypocrisy of the left and have fun doing it. It's Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
Are you looking for the perfect gift? I hope you'll check out Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. I love these guys. Mike Gallagher here at Roland's. Not only do they care about making America great again, they also care about making your holiday moments memorable. You know, buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the go-to place. You're going to see why when you visit RolandsJewelers.com or head to downtown Libertyville to work with them in person. It's no hassle. They'll show you pieces from the top designers, Simon G. with beautiful pendants. The Hearts on Fire diamond earrings are a great choice. Italian designer Roberto Coin's collection is gorgeous. Ken over at Roland's is offering up to $500 for AM 560 The Answer listeners. Not just for jewelry, but luxury timepieces, like the watch I wear from Roland's, Shinola, or Longines, or Tag Heuer. Your choice. Roland's Jewelers makes your gift giving easy. RolandsJewelers.com. Let them help you in-store in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers is a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Let Invisible Fence brand be your second set of hands this holiday season. Their indoor shield units can do just that by creating an invisible boundary to keep pets off furniture, countertops, even out of entire rooms. Visit invisiblefence.com to learn more. That's invisiblefence.com.
6:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time and Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy inbound delay started Cumberland. It's 29 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. Eden's things look good right now. Inbound Eisenhower got a jam from Lake Street to Addison Road with a collision, and traffic's heavy through the avenues. 38 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson, we're looking at 39 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 19 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes, siding to the merge Bishop 428. Northbound Tri-State is heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Westbound 8094 has delays. Indianapolis Boulevard, State Line. There's a crash in Carroll Stream on Gary south of Lies Road. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Partly sunny. It'll be cold today, high 34. Clear and cold tonight with the low 20. A sunny, cold day tomorrow, the high 38. For Saturday, mostly cloudy skies and the high once again at 38. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
26 at O'Hare, 28 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to take a little reprieve from day one of the impeachment hearings. At 6:36, however, we're going to be talking to Hogan Gidley, who is Hogan Gidley, the Deputy Assistant to the President and Principal Deputy Press Secretary. That's at the bottom of the hour, 6:35, so you want to stay tuned to that.
Don't miss that.
But I wanted to get to Buffalo Wild Wings in Naperville. They purposely
new
didn't-
information, Dan.
purposely didn't cover this initially because you know how these events are treated. Hysteria first and a sober assessment of what actually happened, evidence, hearing from people on scene is later. So things like a police report and so on and so forth, all lost in the hysteria to say, white supremacy in Naperville, like these some goofballs in Naperville run around doing, and including their state representative, who's shamefully a Bennett grad. This from the Daily Herald, hardly a right-wing mag. The police report, miscommunication strained racial confrontation at Buffalo Wild Wings in Naperville. The police say they found no evidence of any crimes committed when the group of 18 was asked to move away from a table of 2 regular customers who were white. The situation that unfolded was the result of, quote, a lot of miscommunication that, quote, blew up by word of mouth, unquote, according to a restaurant employee who provided a handwritten statement included with the Naperville police report that was released last night.
Now they've redacted the white couple's name and their hometown. But it paints a very different picture than what we heard from the family of 18 or the group of friends.
The Naperville police officer, Ryan Southard, a partially redacted report, as you were just describing, Amy, interview with the manager of Buffalo Wild Wings the day of the incident, saying it began when the 2 regular customers asked if the restaurant staff could, quote, seat the large group elsewhere since the dining room was mostly empty and there was not much room around them, unquote. After the group was seated, according to the police report, a server and greeter told the group of 18, quote, the couple did not want to sit next to them because the couple was racist. That's from the police report. In interview summaries later in the report, the couple, again, their names and hometowns not being disclosed,
Right, and they're white,
they admit in the police report, they admit to making comments in the past at Buffalo Wild Wings that would be considered inappropriate or racist. But both the man and the woman said they made no racist comments on the date in question. The man told police that restaurant employees took it upon themselves to tell this large group of people that they needed to move due to
such and such being a racist.
Exactly.
So they created the drama themselves.
The
greeter and the server.
The restaurant's general manager, interviewed by Naperville detective Aaron Gibler, said he would have addressed the issues related to inappropriately race-related comments the couple had made in the past if he had been made aware of them. But although the manager said, quote, although the employees were very well that these people were racist, or this person was racist, the comments were never reported. A Buffalo Wild Wings employee said in a handwritten statement in the report, our staff caused most of the drama. That's a quote. No racist comments or remarks were made, the unidentified employee wrote in the statement, and it blew up by word of mouth. Is that a little bit different than how you understand it from the Chicago Press Corps reporting to date over the last, week now?
Yeah. And their family came forward, and the mom was crying, and they felt bad, how to explain this to the children, and they've since consulted with Reverend Jackson. They have a lawyer. They haven't filed a lawsuit yet. What they want right now is diversity training for all Buffalo Wild Wings restaurants.
Well, it's funny. It seems like the training, first of all, you can't force a customer to have diversity training because the customer,
right.
At least in the past, was the issue. They admit to making racist or offensive remarks in the past, and somebody should have said something at the time. They didn't. Okay. They didn't do it that day, but employees decided to stoke the racial animus because they didn't have the courage to confront inappropriate comments in the past. They knew that, I guess, one of the two had made such remarks. The two admit they've made such remarks in the
and
past.
they're regulars there.
Right, so they're known quantity. They didn't have the courage to confront them and say, that's inappropriate language here. And if I'll ask you to leave, or if you persist, I'll ask you to leave. I don't care what you do. It's your property. But they didn't have the courage to do it at the time. So they take the opportunity to do it and create this firestorm. And now Buffalo Wild Wings employees who's to receive racial sensitivity training? Who's
the
to
manager,
receive
everyone, even the cooks in the back.
But why?
That's what the family demands. That's
Yeah, but
what they're asking.
I understand what they're demanding. How does that make any sense is the question. How does that make any sense? In point of fact, the only thing that would make sense is for the people who were too cowardly to confront the customers when they heard them previously making inappropriate comments, they would need training in, I guess, courage training. That's frankly the training that should happen more frequently in private and public sector in work environments these days. Diversity training, racial sensitivity training, for what? What would that accomplish, given the facts and as we know them from the police report, from employees that were on scene?
They fired both of those employees, by the way, that we're talking about.
Well, and for what? For which employees?
The greeter and the server who told the family to move.
So they
the
fired
family of 18.
They fired the server for telling the family of 18 to move, or they fired the server for stoking this racial incident.
Maybe it's for stoking the racial incident, but we didn't know about it at the time.
Yeah,
and now we're learning about it because police released their report last night.
And I bet it wasn't for stoking the racial incident. By the way, I mean, the whole point, I would have said, look, I mean, I know you were seated here first. We got a group of 18. It's hard to accommodate a group of 18 in any restaurant. So for the two of you, let me just...
What's their favorite table, I guess?
Well, whatever. I know it's your favorite table, but in this instance, let me move you to another table. That's just easier, okay?
I mean, when I personally go to a restaurant, I don't want to be by other people. I'd rather be in the corner or in a section that nobody else is in because it's quieter that way.
Well, I know. And that was apparently the point in this incident.
Yeah.
I mean, people cannot handle a situation like this. An empty restaurant, there's a regular customer sitting in one table. You bring in a group of 18 and sit them right next to each other. It drives me nuts in empty restaurants. Even if it's two, I'm with two, and there's a couple of two. You sit me in the next table. It drives me insane. I always ask to move.
I don't want to hear their conversation.
I say I'm not. Or I'll just walk away and go to. I'm actually going to go sit over here. Or you can throw me out. I don't care. But I'm not sitting on top of people.
Are you the one you take your water and your menu and you're like, I'm moving over here? That's totally normal because you're the customer.
I can't go to restaurants where the tables are 3 inches apart. I can't do that either.
Wait, what about when you all sit together at the same table with strangers?
Picnic seating. I will not do picnic table seating. Since this is insane. How does this incident, as described in the police report, how did this incident turn into what it's turned into? People have lost their minds, their ability to cope, their ability to problem solve. I mean, this is absolutely absurd. Come on.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
The only fast food joint that's more absurd is Popeyes, where you can't get a refund without getting body slammed in the parking lot and people are being killed over a chicken sandwich.
Yeah, this one woman, she was double charged for a meal of corn, biscuits, and chicken tenders. And she called the manager and he said, yeah, come back and get your money back. And she did. And they claimed that this white woman called this black employee a racial slur. No, the black people called her an ugly, broke down cracker because she was trying to get her money back. And then he body slammed her in the parking lot and said, that's what you get.
55-year-old woman body slammed, shattered elbow, 6 broken ribs, and a broken leg, according to her attorney.
Did you see that big dude that picked her up?
Yeah,
I mean, well, you're a 29-year-old, 6 foot, whatever guy. He just picks her up and throws her on the ground.
What the hell is going on?
And then people got shot at a Popeyes in, what was it, Georgia, trying to get a chicken sandwich. And
then there's stabbing in another one.
Yeah. The chicken sandwich is not that good. And Americans, grow up. This is so embarrassing.
This never happens at Capitol Grill.
No.
I'm just telling you. Upgrade your dining choices, is all I could tell you.
And stop clogging the intersection of Ashland and Irving Park to get your chicken sandwich there. God.
Bill in the north suburbs.
Hey, good morning. I think Jesse Jackson's trying to get a couple franchises for his 2 sons,
sure,
like he did with Budweiser.
Yeah, whereas Yusuf needs a couple of Buffalo Wild Wings franchises. Exactly.
I like
Thanks, Bill.
Yusuf and I became buddies. He asked me to go shopping with him once. Let's go.
It's a great story.
Out of the blue. I met him one time and he thought we could be buddies, which was sweet. He's a sweet guy. He really is nice, but I'm not. I don't shop.
I find everybody's nice. Everybody is nice. And you know who the nicest people are? The biggest
Who?
criminals.
Oh.
The most scumbag politicians and the biggest criminals and the most inveterate cowards. You know what I find? Super nice people.
Yeah.
Just lovely.
Well, he is charming. He's
So
really
nice.
sweet.
We
No,
we have so many nice Republicans in this state that lead with surrender, that are engaged in the same unjust enrichment schemes through their political office. Democrats, they are so nice. A couple have offered to take me on a shopping spree. Nice. Is the only is there a more overrated description of someone than nice? Is it actually the least descriptive word that you can apply to someone? Nice. And by the way,
I don't know.
this is an example of good grouching.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't get the reference,
And if you don't know what good grouching is, Google it.
yeah, go listen,
up.
go watch the Oscar the Grouch with Johnny Cashing and Nasty Dan, or go listen to our 7:35 segment from yesterday.
Yes.
Tony in Downers Grove.
Oh, Dan, you're just goading us. And you did star in As Good as It Gets? Are you the guy? You like Jack Nicholson that goes into the restaurant?
No, I'm not. But I'm somewhere between that and Mr. Pink from Reservoir Dogs. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, well, don't even get me started on training in restaurants. But you know why this happened. First, it's Naperville, and hasn't Naperville been in the forefront of news for being racially divisive? Second,
I guess I don't know
who was behind? Who's one of the people behind this? The lawyer for the woman that hung herself in her cell.
Oh, Sarah
So
Bland.
this is
Sandra
again, it's another racially motivated incident. I'm not saying that it was right.
How about
saying
how about-
everybody hopped on it, and
How
I
about,
caught
how about the
including
state rep?
news update
How about
guy.
how about the state rep, Anastasia Murray? I mean, that's
Oh.
who they elected. That's who you elected in Downers Grove and Naperville. Yeah, exactly. No, there's a bunch of race hustlers,
he did-
white suburban race hustlers that are just as bad as Jesse Jackson.
Can I ask one more question, a little off topic?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that that Governor Pritzker and all the minions in the state Senate and Congress were going to change our daylight savings time with a wave of their magic little hands.
Well, it still has to pass
All
the
right.
Senate.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, we'll have to pick up that daylight saving. That really rankles people, the daylight savings time
Yeah.
thing. We'll have to get to that. Tom in Deer Park.
Oh, good morning. I wasn't there, and it sounds like this couple, they're jerks, and they should get all the social opprobrium that they deserve. But I wanted to offer another perspective on the Missing Rascals podcast. Eric Zorn, John Williams, they're in favor of the group receiving up to $10 million from the company. They're perfectly okay with that. So, in this era where you can go on the radio and hand out other people's money, I just want to offer that perspective on your airways today.
All right, thanks for the call, Tom. Boy,
And,
Eric Zorn and John Williams. You want to talk about milk toast and
like
more milk
John
toast?
Williams.
Those two. I mean,
No, I like John Williams.
holy
He's
cow.
very nice.
If you thought it was drudgery to get through the impeachment hearings yesterday, listening to Bill Taylor and George Ken and some of those exchanges, if you want to be numbed into sort of a amorphous state of subconsciousness, you listen to those two jackals. Good grief.
And real quick, it was the Illinois Senate that approved the ending daylight savings time. The House needs to approve it.
That's fascinating.
Mhm.
That's Illinois.
This is a nice law.
There's your 5 seconds of Illinois political beat, which is all that it's entitled to. Jim in Crown Point.
Hey, Jim.
Jim.
Jim, wake up, Jim.
Oh, I'm still.
Oh, hey.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Morning.
How you doing?
Yeah. No, hey, Dan, I agree with you on most of what you say, but on the one about 5 minutes ago, people losing their they don't know how to reason anymore. It's just people jumping on the bandwagon. The race word is going to continue to work until people don't listen at it no more and the politicians don't push it. I told you before.
Yeah, I know.
I work at a government entity in Chicago, and Human Resources told us, and I'm talking us white males, this is a fact, that we cannot use them. Being white males, we cannot use Human Resources. That's how bad it's gotten. So as long as the race, you say the race word, that's the most that word's more powerful than God.
Wait,
And
you
that's
can't
why they keep running
wait. You're not allowed to talk to the HR person if you're a white male. Is that what you said?
That's exactly what I said. Yes.
You can't talk to that person. Yeah, they just cover their ears if you address them. I mean, what does that mean?
I don't want to sound like I'm exaggerating. We could talk to them, but it will go no further than that.
In other words, if you have a
That's what I
grievance,
mean.
it's going to be ignored.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I seem to mislead you, but yes.
Yeah. No,
it's going to be
understand.
ignored.
I understand. Thanks for the call, Jim. No, I know. I guess my question for those people who think that is super enlightened and moving the flag forward, do you really think that's going to promote racial harmony? Or are you just not interested in racial harmony? You're interested in racial discord, right? I mean, just tell me. You don't want racial harmony, you want a race war. You want racial discord. And you're going to do things that make you feel better about yourself, make you feel superior to others who are different. And if that engenders racial animus, then so be it, because, you're a navel-gazing solipsist.
There's more to the family's demands real quick. You ready for this? They want zero tolerance. They want extra screening when hiring employees.
Zero tolerance for what?
They want the Wild Wings employee handbook to be changed, a hotline number to be set up for employees to report racial bias, and signage in the break rooms to combat bigotry and accountability system.
Right. So what you're saying is they want money, and they're using that as the facade. I got it.
And they do have Sandra Bland's attorney. That guy caller was correct.
Carl on the south side.
Good morning. Hey, Chicago needs to put all this racial strife behind them. Sign Colin Kaepernick. The Bears will still suck, but there'll be racial.
Exactly.
Rainbow coalition.
Chicago values. Thanks for the call, Carl. Not only they should sign Colin Kaepernick, the Bears, they should sign Megan Rapinoe too. Sign them both. Megan Rapinoe can replace Eddie Pinheiro, and Kaepernick can replace Trubisky.
Well, real quick on Kaepernick, so far there's a lot of not sure's from NFL coaches on whether or not they're going to attend.
No, they're
you ready?
sure.
Who was the
They're
head
sure.
coaches that can't go? Texans, Bears, Colts, Ravens, Cowboys, and Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much said that they can't go.
And by the way, for Tom and Deer Park, I just want to mention one other thing. I'm still trying to process listening to Eric Zorn and John Williams. I'm still trying to process those two having anything interesting to say for, I don't know, even a few minutes that would warrant a podcast.
Well, it'd be interesting if you called in to their podcast. No, all right.
That would be uninteresting. I just don't have that kind of time. But I do have time. If you want to listen to a podcast from the Tribune, listen to Cast of Chicago Way.
Right.
I mean, if you want to be
It's a real
informed.
podcast.
I guess I'm assuming Tom from Deer Park's it's like a menagerie. You're just like pressing yourself up against the window to see these leftist animals. And that's what Zorn and Williams are. They're barbarians. See how they behave. See what humanity used to look like before we walked upright. That's Zorn and Williams.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Hey, looking to get from under the burdens of student loan debt? Then you need to call Tim Hochberg. Tim took out $250,000 in student loans for his sons, which was costing over $3,000 a month. Tim called Tim Hochberg to consolidate his student loans, but missed a mortgage payment in November and messed up his credit. Now, most lenders would have kicked Tim to the curb, but not Team Hochberg. They devised a plan for Tim to reorganize his debt and enhance his credit to refinance in November. Tim was overwhelmed with the time and help Team Hochberg provided so he could refinance at the end of the year. Now, if you're overwhelmed with student loan debt like Tim and would like to work with a lender who will help you refinance your student loans into your mortgage, then call Team Hochberg now. 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 6761019, NMLS 1124061.
This Thanksgiving, think outside the oven with a brand new grill from the Ace Thanks Grilling event this Saturday, November 16th from 11 to 2. Head to your local Ace for great deals, giveaways, and turkey grilling demos, showcasing our top brands like Traeger, Weber, Big Green Egg, and more. Plus, get free assembly and delivery on grills $3.99 and up. Don't miss the Thanks Grilling event this Saturday from 11 to 2 at your local Ace. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions. Free assembly and delivery for Ace Rewards members valid through December 24th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Napa know-how. Now at Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Buy a 2-pack of Night Vision Brilliant headlamps and get a pair of Proformer wiper blades free. Because when you put safety first, your equipment shouldn't be second rate. So upgrade to Napa Night Vision Brilliant headlamps and get a pair of Proformer wiper blades free. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Some restrictions apply. While supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/19.
AM 560. The
Answer. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump has a new impeachment ad-up. He released a statement in response to the impeachment proceeding, and we'll discuss that and all that transpired on day one with Hogan Gidley, the Deputy Assistant to the President and Principal Deputy Press Secretary at 636.
And a bribery charge? Mayor Lightfoot says Uber is paying off 34 South and West Side ministers. We'll tell you the details. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
26 degrees. Former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick is apparently running for president.
With a determination to build a better, more sustainable, more inclusive American dream for the next generation, I am today announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Patrick says he wants to build a better, more inclusive American dream for the next generation. Republicans involved in Wednesday's impeachment hearing claimed the president did nothing wrong. The president being investigated for reportedly pushing Ukraine's president to launch an investigation of Democrats in exchange for U.S. military aid. Ohio Representative Jim Jordan noting Ukraine eventually got the $400 million in planned U.S. military aid.
My clear understanding was they weren't going to get the money until President Zelensky committed to pursue the investigations. Now, with all due respect, Ambassador, your clear understanding was obviously wrong because it didn't happen.
Democrat Adam Schiff says the House will decide whether President Trump tried to exploit Ukraine's vulnerabilities to get the country to investigate some Democrats.
Our answer to these questions will affect not only the future of this presidency, but the future of the presidency itself, and what kind of conduct or misconduct the American people may come to expect from their commander-in-chief.
And this morning, there are reports that key Republican senators are strategizing, considering staging a long impeachment trial in January to interfere with Democrats in the presidential race. It's a story in the Washington Post saying private discussions are being held as Democrats hold impeachment hearings in the House. A long January impeachment hearing would completely tie up the campaigns of 6 Democrat candidates, including some of the frontrunners, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. A recount of votes in the Kentucky governor's race set to begin later on today. Republican Governor Matt Bevin requesting the recanvass. He's about 5,000 votes behind. A woman is in serious condition after being struck by a Chicago police vehicle on the south side. Authorities say officers spoke to the woman last night near 71st and Jeffrey. As officers were leaving, the woman's right leg somehow was stuck under the passenger side tire of that vehicle. Bond denied for a man accused of killing his father earlier this week in Des Plaines. Martin Lomelli Jr. appeared in Cook County Court yesterday on murder charges in the shooting death of Martin Chavez. There's a new Twinkies cereal coming to store shelves next month. You heard me right, Twinkies cereal. Now, Twinkies have been around since the Great Depression. They even were placed in the nation's Millennium Time Capsule in 1996. America's favorite snack cake got its start in Schiller Park, of course, where James Dewar, a manager for the Continental Baking Company, came up with a new idea for using strawberry shortcake pans after strawberry season was over. The news service of InvisibleFence.com. Let Invisible Fence brand to be your second set of hands this holiday season. The Indoor Shield units can do just that by creating an invisible boundary to keep pets off furniture, countertops, even out of entire rooms. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. InvisibleFence.com. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
It starts with the action on the court, moves to the crowd, and is described by the broadcasters and transmitted to you. The energy, passion, and excitement will make you shout out loud. Let them hear you. It starts right here on the Husky Sports Network.
It's the Huskies against the Coppin State Eagles. Friday night at 6 in IU basketball. Right here on AM 560. The Answer.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
6:36 AM 560 traffic center time and Jim Telemonte.
Eastbound Reagan Tollway traffic is stop and go from Raymond to Winfield Road. Lanes have reopened after a medical emergency. The northbound Tri-State is heavy from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to past the Eisenhower. Edens is okay. Inbound Kennedy, 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. Inbound Eisenhower is running 42 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 32. Inbound Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95 to downtown. Inbound I-57, a crash at the Calsag Channel. It's 21 minutes, 90 to the merge. Bishopport, 28 minutes. Westbound 8094 is heavy. Indianapolis Boulevard to Burnham Avenue in Lansing. Semi on the shoulder. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, a cold day ahead. Partial sunshine, but will likely be above the freezing mark for the first time in a while, with a high of 34 and a low of 20 overnight. It's 26 at O'Hare, 28 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump releasing a statement concurrent with the start of the impeachment hearings yesterday, offering this.
What's going on now is the single greatest scam in the history of American politics. The Democrats want to take away your guns. They want to take away your health care. They want to take away your vote. They want to take away your freedom. They want to take away your judges. They want to take away everything. We can never let this happen. We're fighting to drain the swamp, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And you see why we have to do it. Because our country is at stake like never before. It's all very simple. They're trying to stop me because I'm fighting for you, and I'll never let that happen.
And I like the macro messaging rather than getting beset by the micro tedium of the hearings and a bunch of names that very few people know or can put in context or certainly could put on an org chart. And I'm not saying yesterday was a circus, but it did include a drag queen named Pissy Miles.
It did. Well, Pissy Miles came at the beginning of the hearing, and she was just bringing some levity to the situation, right? And garnering attention.
And before she left, she was subpoenaed by Adam Schiff. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Hogan Gidley. He is the Deputy Assistant to the President, Principal Deputy Press Secretary. Hogan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, and I really appreciate you guys bringing up 50 miles before coming into my segment. That's a really good transition.
Well, it
there.
happened.
Thanks so
I
much.
mean,
Yeah,
just when you
perfect
think
segue.
Things
Yeah.
couldn't get any crazier in
Thank
DC.
you. Great segue. I really appreciate it.
I want to treat this with the sobriety it demands. So here's the here's the thing, Hogan. How did you think the day one went with George Kent and Bill Taylor? And I start from saying, hey, I thought George Kent, Bill Taylor, they seemed like honorable men and experienced professional Foreign Service officers. I thought for the most part they stayed within the bounds of what they knew to be true, or explained why they believed what they believed to be true, even when it turned out to be wrong. So I didn't take any offense at Taylor or Kent, but I did take a lot of offense at some of the antics of Democrats, of course.
Well, I mean, there were a lot of antics. Don't get me wrong, and you could take issue with any number of them, but so much of this is just a joke. And you applauded the president before my segment in not getting into the micro minutia here of this hearing, and that makes sense because so many people don't understand what's going on. Other than the fact the president's done nothing wrong, you can read the transcript. He released it so that he would be completely transparent to show you he did nothing wrong. And whether you're Democrat, Republican, or independent, you understand fundamental fairness. And you don't appreciate when fairness is refused from somebody, when due process under the Constitution is stripped away. And that's what Democrats are doing to Donald Trump. I mean, if you got a parking ticket, you get treated better than the Democrats are treating the president of the United States as they're trying to impeach him. And lastly, what a stark difference. While they're talking about all these ridiculous things and hearsay and conjecture and opinion and speculation, what they're not talking about are things that we need to do for the American people, like passing USMCA that would affect manufacturing, farmers, and ranchers. Not to mention lowering prescription drug prices. We've done it for the first time in 50 years under this administration, but we could do so much more if Democrats would come to the table. They're not talking about a rational, reasonable immigration policy at all. I mean, they want open borders, and they want us to pay health care to every single person who comes here illegally for free. So they're not talking about the issues that matter to the American people. They're continuing down a partisan political road, and I think that was exposed yesterday.
Well, the mainstream media seems to be celebrating this fact that they learned yesterday of the second phone call between Sondland and President Trump, and they're claiming this morning on CNN that caught the White House off guard. Did you know about this second phone call that was made a day after the original one?
I wasn't aware of the call, but I mean, what another person with hearsay and conjecture that wasn't directly a party to a conversation with the president? I mean, this is like the line from Spaceballs. It reminded me of like, it's my father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
I remember that
Heard
line
something.
too. Yes.
It's
Great
like,
Mel
give me a
Brooks
break.
reference. Great Mel Brooks reference.
Right,
Very
exactly. And I remember the follow-up was, well, what does that make us? And he goes, absolutely nothing. And it's like, what does that mean here? Absolutely nothing. Because there is no relation. There is no correlation. You heard both men say they never talked to the president. They never met the president. And so all this is their opinion on a call. Well, we released it for the American people to read and see. And let's not forget just a couple of fundamental facts as I do get into some weeds here. The aid was released to Ukraine. We did more for Ukraine with the missiles than Barack Obama ever did. We actually sent them lethal aid to protect themselves against Russia, and Barack Obama sent them pillows. Okay, sent them blankets.
And that,
so
and
we
that,
have completely changed the form. We have. That's right.
Yes.
And we have changed the foreign policy of this country, and that's what this was about. It was a policy difference. So much of what George Kent said was, I don't like doing this. I like to just keep giving tax dollars overseas. And this president said, no, I ran on an issue of making sure our money is wisely spent, that other countries pay their fair share. We're not the world's piggy bank. That was on full display yesterday. But I got to tell you, just to hit home with you guys there in Illinois, one of the greatest lines was from that congressman who said,
Mike Quigley,
hearsay
that congressman.
much better than direct hearsay is much better than direct evidence. So explain to me in what court of law you would like to be charged with any crime, and the judge says, just so we know beforehand, before we get started, hearsay is going to work better here than any direct evidence. So it doesn't matter you weren't in the state at the time of the crime, weren't in the location. I heard you were, So I think you're guilty. I mean, it's just insane.
Well,
and Hogan,
it is.
just so you know, we call him Froggy here.
Yeah, he's part of the Little Rascals group here. Here's the thing, and again, he did a better job, I thought, impersonating a lawyer than Pissy Miles did impersonating a woman. But it's close.
Again with Pissy Miles. Again with this.
We're obsessed.
Here's the thing about that, though. This is the same thing the Democrats did with the Mueller investigation. We're going to make up in volume what we lack in substance. So if we have more instances of hearsay, that somehow gets us closer to the threshold of proof than any substance. And of course, it's just a charade.
No question. And look, don't believe the president of the United States who says he wasn't pressuring Ukraine. Don't believe President Zelensky of Ukraine who said he wasn't pressured, didn't feel pressure.
Yeah.
Don't believe the government officials in Ukraine said we didn't even know the aid wasn't there, and we sure didn't open an investigation. So what is all this for? It's just for politics. It's a power grab by the Democrats. They do it time and time again. And this was one of those instances in which, as this begins to kick off, we're in basically round 2 because they did everything first behind closed doors and selectively leaked pieces to the media to try and somehow hurt the president before this open trial starts. But they're still not giving us the due process that any other president has deserved and, quite frankly, has received, whether it was Bill Clinton or Richard Nixon. They all got their people in the room to ask questions, present evidence, cross-examine witnesses. And this hasn't happened here.
Before we let you go, one point I wanted to bring up, because George Kent made a concession that's important in questioning by Steve Castor, and that is that when Hunter Biden was appointed to the board of Burisma, quote, my concern was there was a possibility of a perception of a conflict of interest. So, that, well, of course, it's inherently a conflict of interest, but from George Kent admitting that that was an area of concern to him. If it was an area of concern to him, then why shouldn't it be an area of concern to President Trump and to the Attorney General's investigation into 2016 and so forth?
Why shouldn't it be a concern to the media
who
are on this crusade to root out corruption at every level? Where's that? Look, I'm old enough to remember when Democrats cared about what happened in the 2016 election. And they were so incensed by it, they went on a 2.5-year, collusion witch hunt against Donald Trump. And it's fine when he's being investigated, but when he's doing the investigating, then somehow that's a problem. So, look, I think everyone's starting to see this for what it is. It's a scam. It's a sham. They lied about collusion. They lied about Kavanaugh. They lied about a cover-up. They lied about a whistleblower. They're lying about this now, and I think sooner or later the American people are going to understand this is partisan in nature. In fact, the only bipartisan vote that has happened on this matter was in our favor when Democrats defected to our side. So Nancy Pelosi, who said she wouldn't even open hearings unless this was bipartisan because it deeply divides a country, et cetera, she lied too, because here we are moving forward with an impeachment inquiry that's completely illegitimate and a complete scam.
He is Hogan Gidley. He's the Deputy Assistant to the President and Principal Deputy Press Secretary for President Trump. Hogan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Yep, thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. No Fed interest rate cuts likely. Volkswagen expands electric car production in this country, and Google to offer checking accounts. Those stories next.
Guys, waking up over and over to urinate is not okay. But now you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to urinate at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of
P3 Advanced. Free. Just pay shipping and handling.
No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free.
Call 1-800-424-7680.
Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now.
Call 1-800-424-7680.
Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer.
1-800-424-7680. 1-800-424-7680.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell continues his testimony today before a congressional panel. Powell testified yesterday the central bank is unlikely to make further cuts in its benchmark short-term interest rates in the coming months. Powell added, unless the economy slows tremendously, policymakers won't be making any material reassessment of their outlook. Volkswagen making Tennessee its new base for North American production of electric vehicles. It's broken ground on an $800 million expansion of its Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga as its first step. Google planning to partner with Citigroup and offer checking accounts at a credit union as part of its digital wallet at Google Pay. More than 2,000 other banks offer virtual card transactions through Google. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Just learned that President Obama sent the Ukrainian troops pillows and blankets. And I said, I hope it was a MyPillow because it's made in America. And why not?
That would certainly improve U.S.-Ukrainian relations.
Exactly, because, it conforms to your neck and back, gives you the best sleep ever. If you're sleeping on a soft surface, a couch, in your car, trust me, I've been there, and you want a MyPillow to be with you. And right now, Mike Lindell, the founder, creator, and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to the listeners, and you can get deep discounts on all MyPillow products by simply going to MyPillow.com, type Amy, A-M-Y, in that promo code, and voila, 30% off the mattress toppers, deep discounts on those amazing Giza cotton sheets. And now they have the MyPillow towel, which I love. They have a hand towel, which you can put in the powder room, and a bath towel for after you take a shower. It's very absorbent, soft, and it doesn't leave any residue on your arms or legs. MyPillow.com and type in Amy in the promo code when you check out, or call 800-489-0201, 800-489-0201, and tell them Amy sent you.
When John Mariotti started Woodland Windows and Doors in 1969, he knew that relationships were important. He knew that he needed to look out for his customers' best interests. Today, Woodland is run by the second and third generation of Mariottis, who continue to build great relationships and to service their customers. When it's time to replace your windows and doors, trust your Marvin retailer, Woodland Windows and Doors, to guide you through the process. They have a huge selection of Marvin replacement windows and doors, specialists who know their stuff, and professional installation. Homeowners and builders turn to Woodland Windows and Doors for the individual attention they get on each project. Every job is unique. Every job is done right. That's why for 50 years, they've trusted Woodland Windows and Doors with their projects. Woodland Windows and Doors, your Marvin authorized installing retailer, provides the perfect solution and professional installation. They're online at woodlandwindows.com or stop by the Woodland Windows and Doors showroom at the corner of Lake and Gary in Roselle.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
The late great Winston Churchill said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." Pretty wise words considering all of the distractions in modern society.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI, 844-HIRE-ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. In my lab, I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. As a scientist, I know that balance of nature works.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800 888-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Hi, this is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. Is the lack of having enough money in the bank holding you back from buying a home? The state of Illinois is helping first-time home buyers with this issue with a program you can only get through a limited number of lenders that's hand-picked by the state, and I'm one of those preferred lenders. This program is a grant up to $10,000 to help you with your down payment and also cover closing costs. Stop paying your landlord's mortgage and get on the path to buying your own home. Since this is a grant program, funding can run out at any time, so call now and reach out to me personally. Just pick up the phone and call 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN to reach me personally, or visit me on the web at windmortgage.com. That's windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162.
Homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, discolored water, or pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe specialists have been repiping homes for over 25 years. With 40,000 home repipes completed, they stand behind their work. They have perfected the most efficient process for customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialists only uses high-quality PEX or USA Grade L copper pipe. And for a limited time, get 20% off and 0% interest. Repipe Specialists, the no-hassle, value-priced, all-inclusive repipe. Call today for your free in-home estimate tailored for your home at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we've got competition here in Cook County for the county's worst district attorney. On the other side of the country there, the left coast, San Francisco District Attorney Chesa Boudin announcing he will not prosecute quality of life crimes.
And a quality of life crime is taking a deuce on the street.
It's more than that. Public camping, as she calls it. Offering or soliciting sex, that's called prostitution.
Oh, my gosh.
Public urination, blocking a sidewalk, etc.
Oh, if I lived in that town, I'd move out ASAP. Who wants to live like that? And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
We have a long way to go to decriminalize poverty and homelessness. So there you go. You can decriminalize prostitution, which was the next frontier. Wait till it's decriminalized, then it'll be legalized because the government will want to cut. And then we'll have full mob economies in mob states like California and Illinois that have already cornered the market on gambling and drugs. Prostitution is next, as we've been saying for some time on this show. And all you need is a district attorney like a Kim Foxx or a district attorney like a Chesa Boudin to do it. By the way, Boudin has a bit of a Chicago connect.
Uh-oh.
His parents were members of the Weather Ground. In other words, domestic terrorists. There's a quote about him in an NBC News report that Boudin was raised in Chicago by Weather Underground leaders Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn.
Oh, looky there.
And
well,
now
he's going to drive that town into the ground.
And now he's in the law enforcement business. What could go wrong? The anti-broken windows strategy of policing and law enforcement in places like Chicago and San Francisco. So you think that the left and most politicians, they're solutionists. Hey, we're just trying to, whatever works best. No, they're not. They're ideologues that have an agenda that has very little to do with whatever works best.
And real quick,
you see this expressed with Boudin just in San Francisco, just like Fox here.
And real quick, in Denver, now they're targeting business owners who don't pick up homeless people's feces.
Oh, sure. It's the business owner's fault.
Business owner says it's a biohazard. It could be infectious. I don't hire these people to clean poop off the ground. He said that the city of Denver is filled with piles of poop, crime, feces, urine, used syringes, and drug addicts. And he went out to tell a homeless person who was dropping a deuce right in front of his business to leave and pick up your own poop. and the guy chased him with a 2x4, and another homeless man smashed his windshield of his car. So they're violent. It's sick. What's going on? I mean, we got to take back the streets.
It's going very well.
How's it going in L.A.?
This other story, did you hear the L.A. woman near the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Gross. This is such a gross story.
After leaving a Thai restaurant near the famed Walk of Fame, a homeless man dumped a bucket of hot diarrhea on her.
Just randomly poured it on her, by the way.
It was diarrhea, hot liquid. I was soaked. It was coming off my eyelashes and into my eyes.
Oh!
She literally is dealing with PTSD after it, she says.
I would too. I would.
I mean, it's just disgusting, and that's what's happening in some of these big urban centers that have seated law enforcement.
And it happens here. I saw a guy drop a deuce underneath the bridge on Lawrence Avenue.
Why were you underneath the bridge on Lawrence Avenue?
I was walking to the lakefront to go to my son's soccer game. And I said, pick up after yourself. At least dogs poop on the grass. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Rich Lowry at 8:08.
Now it is 7 a.m. AM 560 WIND.
There's another runner in the Democratic race for president. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Deval Patrick, former governor of Massachusetts, became a candidate this morning.
This won't be easy, and it shouldn't be. But I'm placing my faith in the people who feel left out and left back.
Patrick enters the race less than 3 months before the first contest in Iowa. And after 8 other Democrats have already dropped out. 18, including Patrick, are still in the 2020 race, and ex-New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is also considering a late run. The day after the first public hearing in the House impeachment inquiry, President Trump tweeted about this question Republican John Ratcliffe asked.
Where is the impeachable offense in that call?
The president wrote both witnesses had blank looks and remained silent, so he added, that would be the end of the case, run by normal people. Democrats insist the president asking Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and son amounts to extortion and bribery. And there's one thing new in the testimony getting the most attention. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Acting Ambassador to Ukraine Bill Taylor testified that one of his staffers overheard President Trump and EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland discussing potential investigations into the Bidens in the 2016 election.
Ambassador Sondland told President Trump the Ukrainians were ready to move forward.
The New York Times reports that staffer is David Holmes, who is scheduled for a closed-door deposition tomorrow with committees conducting the impeachment inquiry. President Trump says he does not recall that conversation, and the White House says Taylor's testimony is hearsay. Dave?
Rachel Sondland will testify Wednesday. There will also be another public hearing tomorrow. House Democrats are a step closer to finally getting President Trump's tax returns. A federal appeals court refusing his attempt to block a subpoena to a longtime accounting firm to hand them over.
President Trump's legal team says it's going to appeal this to the Supreme Court. The administration's arguing the House committee's subpoena for the personal records exceeds Congress's investigative and legislative powers.
That's Fox's Shannon Bream. There's also an attempt in New York State to get the president's tax returns. America's listening to Fox News.
Skies are gray, 26 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. An early morning fire has destroyed a church on the south side. Fire broke out early this morning inside the Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church near 59th and State. No one was hurt. Cause not released. A woman is in serious condition, hit by a Chicago police vehicle on the south side. Officers were speaking to the woman last night near 71st and Jeffrey as they were leaving. The woman's right leg somehow got tangled under the passenger side tire of that vehicle. The victim was rushed to University of Chicago Medical Center with injuries to her right leg and head. Mayor Lightfoot still waiting on legislation that would help Chicago get a casino.
It's critically important for the city because revenues generated by a Chicago casino are designated for our police and fire pensions.
However, Lightfoot still needs to win more support from House Democrats if a bill is going to make it out of the General Assembly before its scheduled adjournment from its fall session today. Officials saying the death of an 80-year-old Chicago man whose body was found on the floor of his garage is the second cold-related death of the season. And Illinois DCFS will ban the use of shackles for transporting youth after 2 teens were physically restrained while being driven from a Chicago shelter last month. Blackhawks rally from an early 2-0 deficit, scoring 5 straight goals in a 5-3 win over the Golden Knights of Vegas. College basketball, Northwestern defeats Providence. College football here on AM 560. Toledo lost to our NIU Huskies, 31-28. The news service of Indeed.com, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring. where business owners and HR pros post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can't make heads or tails of the left.
To be a liberal Democrat, extreme radical socialist today, you have to suspend any fidelity to truth, to honesty, to common sense and reason. Because in their world, up is down, down is up. You know, black is white, white is black, green is purple, purple is green. That's the world they live in.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
Travel your way with the Apple Vacation Super Sale. With more destinations, more relaxation, and more fun, Apple Vacations puts affordable prices and unbeatable value right at your fingertips. It's all included: flights, hotels, meals, drinks, and ground transportation in one convenient package price. With up to 60% off and instant savings up to $600 at participating resorts. Voted Best Destination by Apple Vacationers, Puerto Vallarta and Riviera Nayarit offer sparkling blue waters, long sandy beaches, and a culture and history as rich as the cuisine. Discover Puerto Vallarta and Riviera Nayarit, where stunning treasures await you. Call Carey Travel Express at 847-639-3300 or visit CareyTravelExpress.com to book your Apple vacation today. Savings valid at participating resorts on select dates from January through April 2020. Restrictions apply.
Staples Print and Marketing Services makes connecting with clients and loved ones easy with hundreds of holiday templates you can customize. And right now, get 20% off select custom cards and invitations. Ends 12/28/19, limit 1. Visit staples.com/holiday cards or store for details. Staples.
7:06 AM 560 Traffic Center time. And Jim Talamonte.
Westbound 8094, traffic is jammed. Klein Avenue to Burnham, where a semi lost a load of sheet metal. It's on the shoulder there. Farther west, I-80 westbound. Stop and go Parker to Gallagher with a stalled semi in the right lane. Eden's 28 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, now 51 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 32 from Montrose, 31 on the Express. Eisenhower, 56 minutes, 390 to downtown. 36 from Manheim. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. And Ryan, 29 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes, siding to the merge. Mission 428. The northbound tri-state is heavy. Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis. Except for the Reagan Shoalway to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Partial sun. It will be a cold day today. The high only 34. Clear and cold tonight with a low near 20. And then sunny for tomorrow. The high near 38. Mostly cloudy for Saturday. The high Saturday at 38. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
26 at O'Hare. Next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It got out to a rousing start yesterday. The exchange between Jim Jordan and Adam Schiff was fun. Just to sort of set the table for the fun morning and afternoon they were going to share together. Do we have that Adam Schiff Jordan exchange on the whistleblower?
Just to ask a clarifying question, do you anticipate when we might vote on the ability to have the whistleblower in front of us, something you, of the 435 members of Congress, you are the only member who knows who that individual is, and your staff is the only staff of any member of Congress who's had a chance to talk with that individual. We would like that opportunity. When might that happen in this proceeding today?
First, as the gentleman knows, that's a false statement. I do not know the identity of the whistleblower, and I'm determined to make sure that identity is protected. But as I said to Mr. Conaway, you will have an opportunity after the witnesses testify to make a motion to subpoena any witness and compel a vote.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If this moves on to the Senate, I want them to subpoena Schiff and get to the bottom of his relationship with the whistleblower.
I'm not going to testify. The fun part was his answer was against the backdrop of a poster board that read, it's been 93 days since Adam Schiff learned of the identity of the whistleblower or something like that. And that was right next to the one with the Al Green quote about we need to impeach this president, otherwise he's going to win again. And that, of course, the pregame, if you will, the little run-up to the actual inquiry of the two testifying witnesses, Kent and Taylor, included this fun exchange between young Elise Stefanik from upstate New York.
What we will witness today is a televised...
Not that one.
Consent to enter into the record the transcript from the July 25th call between President Trump and President Zelensky. You yourself, Mr. Chairman, have mischaracterized the call. In fact, in the first open hearing, you had a parody.
The gentlewoman will suspend.
Let her talk. Yeah.
By unanimous consent, be happy to enter the call record into the record.
No.
I want to go back to the
Mr.
parody.
Maloney, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
I want to enter the parody into the record. It was so good, Chairman Schiff.
You really sold it.
We want to memorialize your wonderful rendition. Again, this could be something that is included in the screenplay that you're drafting for the movie that I'm sure will be optioned by some of your Hollywood friends, starring you as the hero. So I at least appreciated the effort. The most important exchanges, though, from the Republicans, two I think, not surprisingly, they included Jim Jordan and former federal prosecutor John Ratcliffe. John Ratcliffe, I thought, made a very good point, setting up Democrats and those two witnesses as well. You believe Zelensky is an honorable man. You believe that he is the real deal when it comes to eradicating, or at least attempting to eradicate, corruption in Ukraine, right? Yes. Okay. Well, then pick your poison. Either he's a liar or you are.
The Ukrainian president stood in front of the world press and repeatedly, consistently, over and over again, interview after interview, said he had no knowledge of military aid being withheld, meaning no quid pro quo, no pressure, no demands, no threats, no blackmail, nothing corrupt. And unlike the first 45 minutes that we heard from the Democrats today, that's not secondhand information. It's not hearsay. It's not what someone overheard Ambassador Sondland say. That was his direct testimony. Ambassador Taylor, do you have any evidence to assert that President Zelensky was lying to the world press when he said those things? Yes or no?
Mr. Ratcliffe, if I can respond.
My time is short.
Your time
yes or
is
no?
short. That's right. I have no reason to doubt what the president said in his...
Okay, very good. I think everyone knows that House Democrats have made up their mind to impeach one president. The question that we've just learned is whether or not they're prepared to impeach two. Because to be clear, if House Democrats impeach President Trump for a quid pro quo involving military aid, they have to call President Zelensky a liar. If they impeach him for abusing his power or pressuring or making threats or demands, they have to call President Zelensky a liar to do it. If they impeach President Trump for blackmail or extortion or making threats or demand, they have to call President Trump a liar to do it.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Rich Lowry, National Review editor, Fox News contributor, and author of the new book. It's out, The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. Rich, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what about that, the corner that Ratcliffe, I think, painted Democrats in? If this was a quid pro quo and he was being pressured and President Trump was trying to extract some personal political advantage from the Ukrainian president, why isn't he reading from Schiff's script? So either Zelensky's a liar or what you're asserting is untrue.
Yeah, I think the problem with that argument, and I know what Ratcliffe is getting at, is that Zelensky is highly motivated not to blow this up. Trump's still president of the United States, and the Ukrainians are still heavily dependent on them. So they want to tiptoe around this controversy. Now, Taylor testifies that Zelensky was on the verge of making the announcement, that he was getting pressured to announce. Now, the problem with Taylor's testimony is largely second, third hand.
Well, the other problem
it seems to me pretty inarguable that we're squeezing them.
But the other problem is that he didn't do it. So the actual choice that was made to do or not do seems material. The other thing is, you could say that they're tiptoeing around it. That's what Schiff said, and that's what the Democrats' response was to Ratcliffe's probing. But here's the thing. If you're trying to prove a case, even though this isn't technically a court of law, sort of the principles apply in the public mind, I believe. So now we are to ignore what Zelensky says. We're to ignore what he did and didn't do, and we're to trust Adam Schiff's read of what's actually in Zelensky's mind. That seems to me a much less credible case.
Yeah, this is a structural problem with the Democrats' case. Is it's heavily reliant on second and third hand witnesses. I think Taylor and Kent were really credible yesterday, but they weren't in the room when any of these conversations were taking place. And if you want to get the first-hand witnesses, you're going to have big court fights because either executive privilege might apply or testimonial immunity might apply, as John Bolton is asserting. And that's weeks, that's months, that drags you into next year. And I think they want to get this over as quickly as possible. The closest they're going to have to a first-hand witness is Sondland next week. And he I think, should make Republicans kind of nervous because his initial testimony, is basically nothing to see here, nothing happened, and then he famously has to go back and correct it and say, no, actually, I put it to the Ukrainians directly that they needed to cough up these investigations in exchange for a meeting and for the funding. I think that the best Republican argument is the one you hit on just a second ago. End of the day, they got the funding. And there was no investigation. There was no statement of investigations. And by the way, if they had said we're investigating Burisma, that does not collapse Joe Biden's campaign. That does not dig up dirt on Joe Biden. Doesn't even dig up dirt on Hunter Biden. And as the Republican counsel pointed out yesterday, Burisma is corrupt and has been investigated at times by Ukrainian legal authorities unsatisfyingly and apparently cut short by a bribery scheme. So just the harm here doesn't justify thermonuclear punishment of impeachment removal, which of course has never happened in our history.
Yeah, let's talk about that second phone call between EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland and President that happened in a restaurant in Ukraine where Bill Taylor's aide had overheard the conversation. Sondland, during his first testimony, didn't even mention this phone call, and now everyone seemed surprised by it yesterday.
Yeah, I think Sondland's going to have a hard time next week because I just don't think he was straight in his initial testimony, and there are going to be some uncomfortable moments for him.
Yeah, it's part of it could be just this lack of detail, being detail oriented as well in terms of all of the exchanges and so on and so forth. This was sort of the point that Jim Jordan made in his cross of Bill Taylor, and I agree. I stipulate about Kent and Taylor. I think they're credible. I think they're professional. I thought they were restrained and stayed within the bounds of what they knew or what the basis for what they believed they knew, even if it turned out to be untrue or incorrect. But that exchange between Jordan and Taylor, basically, you had three times that you met with Zelensky directly between the July 18th when the freeze was put on the aid and September 11th when it was released. It never came up. It never came up when Zelensky's aide met with Pence in Warsaw. And even after the Politico article came out that suggested that aid was being held up, that made the Ukrainians known about it at the end of August, it still didn't come up in the September 5th meeting that Taylor subsequently had with Zelensky. So he couldn't have been feeling that much pressure if all of those opportunities to express it or to suggest, boy, you're really putting the screws to me. He didn't to you.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. The whole thing, it was furtive, it was ambiguous, it was highly contested within the administration, and I think you could have given a number of people involved in this, like a lie detector test at any given moment. Is it our policy to force an investigation based on the funding? And they would have said no, or I don't know. You know, John Bolton didn't support that policy. The senators over there, Johnson and Murphy, didn't support that policy. I'm not sure Pence was fully read into that policy. So at any given moment, the Ukrainians did not seem fully aware or fully confident that they were actually being squeezed. And again, at the end of the day, it doesn't happen. So are we really going to remove a president 12 months before an election that he has a significant chance of winning, by the way, over this? And I think if we did that, it would represent more damage to our institutions and the legitimacy of them than anything that happened in Ukraine.
Andrew Weissman made his debut, wonderful, on NBC News yesterday. The top guy for Mueller during the Mueller investigation. And but it was interesting, the point that he made. He thought Democrats were making a strategic mistake by focusing so much on Ukraine and Ukraine defending itself from Russia and the importance of the aid, and not focusing more on how Trump was, this would be the argument, Trump was trying to interfere with a prospective 2020 election. In other words, you're making the mistake about making it about something on the other side of the world rather than making it about our election next year.
Well, the other problem with emphasizing just how important this aid is to Ukraine, and I think it is important, is they never got it under Obama, and they got it under Trump. Now,
Right.
they got it under Trump, Trump was getting dragged and pulled by his aides at times to assent to this lethal aid, but they still got it. And the idea that, again, if Zelensky had gone on CNN, as was Taylor's big fear at the end, and said, you know what, we're going to cooperate with Bill Barr's investigation into what happened in 2016, and we're reopening an investigation of our own company that's shady and was corrupt at the start. Does that changes American politics? I mean, Biden drops 10 more points in Iowa. It just doesn't happen. And this is my big problem with the Democratic case, is they're kind of trying to bootstrap up the gravity of this through metaphor, through calling it bribery and extortion, and through saying things that aren't true. We weren't pressuring them to dig up dirt on Joe Biden. There was no circumstances where they're going to dig up dirt on Joe Biden. At the outset, you might have said that's the worst case because this is a corrupt country, and they would have taken this request as a request to go manufacture something on Joe Biden. But they weren't doing that. They weren't going to do that. That's not what we were asking for. But this kind of meme is out there that this is what it was about, and it wasn't.
Well, do you know why President Obama didn't give foreign aid to Ukraine and instead just gave them pillows and blankets?
Because the theory was it would escalate the conflict. Mm-hmm. So, Russia is already invaded, and is killing Ukrainians, and enabling the Ukrainians to fight back is not a major escalation, and is obviously the right policy. And this just goes to another irony of our times, that Obama was extremely weak on Russia. There are a lot of complaints. We had that meeting with Erdogan in the Oval Office yesterday about what Trump's done in Syria, which is giving the Russians more sway now in northeastern Syria, where we used to be. But Russia's in Syria in the first place because of Obama. Obama stood aside while hundreds of thousands of Syrians were killed in the civil war, and most of his side, some people did, but most of them didn't utter a single peep about that. And now all of this is scandalous and a disgrace to the United States. And I don't support the Syria policy. I don't think what we did in Ukraine is great, but the hypocrisy is just astonishing.
There's a report from Axios that one issue of concern, this sort of second unofficial diplomatic channel that was opened up and filled by Rudy Giuliani, that was discussed a little bit yesterday, that Rudy is turning out to be a problem. So Rudy is going to have to go away. Uber-connected Republican telling Axios, that's how they described him, Rudy will be cut loose because he was rogue. It seems like an inopportune time to do anything public in terms of distancing yourself from Rudy Giuliani, who was ostensibly acting under the auspices of President Trump. But do you think that it's sort of directionally right that at some point Rudy will be the fall guy as necessary?
I think Rudy was rogue in this sense. I mean, I think he was coordinating with the president and whispering in the president's ear about Ukraine, but I'm not sure why, and the reason why might have had to do more with money that he was getting from Ukrainian interests than defending his client, as he always says. So the Rudy thing makes you really nervous. You know, I'm a New Yorker. I'm eternally grateful for Rudy Giuliani saving the city of New York, but this has been a really bad episode. He led the president down a really foolish path. And it might have been, I don't know, you know, I emphasize might, that there might have been a corrupt interest there on his part. And one thing we know about Trump, when he finds out that you've been profiting off of him or off of his name or off of your relationship with him, that never ends well. And that's why I think this isn't going to end well for Rudy whenever it happens.
I wanted to get to your take on some developments in the 2020 race unrelated to impeachment. The entrance, since you're a New Yorker, speaking of which, the entrance of Mike Bloomberg, a New York Times piece on Bloomberg, not helpful, has a history of demeaning comments about women, and they reference, among other things, a 1997 lawsuit that accused Bloomberg of reacting poorly upon learning that an employee at Bloomberg was pregnant. The employee alleged Bloomberg told her to kill it, referring to her baby, before grumbling about the number of pregnant women at his company. I don't know how that's going to fare in a Democrat primary there, Rich.
Yeah, well, you know, Democrats are so pro-abortion, I don't know, but they're not quite that pro-abortion, probably. So yeah, he's gonna chewed up by the woke element, you know, because of the policing in New York and other things. And as my colleague Charlie Cook said last week, you know, just everyone in America has some reason to be annoyed with Mike Bloomberg. You know, he wants to take away your fountain sodas. He wants to take away your guns. He, you know, stopped and frisked people in New York City. So just the Bloomberg thing doesn't at all seem plausible.
And then you have Deval Patrick, you know, two-term Massachusetts governor. He's jumping into the race today too. Does anybody know him on a national level? I mean, we do here. He's from Chicago.
We do in this room, but that's about it in Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll you know immediately kind of be down in the Cory Booker territory, but you know this is not as crazy as Bloomberg, and the theory is if Biden collapses, which hasn't happened yet, you know he's sagged and the performance has been terrible, but he hasn't collapsed. But if he does collapse, there are going to be a lot of African American votes at play, and Bernie, Warren, and Buttigieg, the other top contenders, have shown zero appeal to those kind of voters. So can a Deval Patrick or maybe even a Cory, if he survives that long, pick him up? Yeah, maybe, but it depends on what Biden does.
Well, I'm rooting for Deval Patrick because I think it'd be fun for the Democrat Socialists to have a director from Bain Capital as their nominee. Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, Fox News contributor. The new book, pick it up, The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. Rich, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Hey, believe it or not, the holidays are right around the corner. And if you want to start getting healthy, maybe lose some weight, boost your energy level, take care of yourself, then you should take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. I'm talking, of course, about balance of nature, because admit it, we're not getting enough fruits and veggies on our own. There is no way. And all that money, moms and dads, that we spend on produce to eventually feed to our kids that they don't eat anyway, why waste your money on that? Just give them balance of nature. I know Peyton and Eli take it every day, 3 capsules in the morning and 3 capsules at night. And with 6 capsules total, you're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. You hear stories right here all the time about how people's lives have changed by taking Balance of Nature. And the next story could be yours, but you've got to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering 35% discount and free shipping, but this offer may end soon, so do it today. And call the 800 number and talk to one of the coaches. That's what they're called, instead of operators, but they're coaches. They'll walk you through the benefits of Balance of Nature and also take your order. That number to call is 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751.
Property managers, manufacturing, commercial, privately and locally owned companies looking for accountability from their alarm service provider. This message is for you.
Out-of-town national companies are struggling to provide service and support for your security and fire alarm system. You can do better with SMG Security. SMG Security is a local security service and fire alarm system provider with a mission to be the security industry leader in performance and customer satisfaction for the Chicagoland area. Concentration on local protection with a local UL central monitoring system delivers the ultimate protection for you, your employees, and property from theft, fire, and workplace violence. In many cases, SMG can detect issues before they become a major problem and are continually establishing new and improved industry standards and technology to keep your business safe and secure. Get a security solution based on your business budget and needs from SMG Security. And if you switch protection to SMG before the end of the month, you'll get 3 months of free service. Go to smgsecurity.com. smgsecurity.com.
Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, November is Men's Health Month. A reminder to take care of your health. So Low T Center is now offering a $49 comprehensive health assessment and a $49 home sleep assessment to determine if you have sleep apnea. Low T Center's health assessment provides a complete screening, checking all your levels, including your prostate, cholesterol, testosterone, and more. Low T Center is not like a typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. They're concierge medicine exclusively for men, and I know because I've been there. Guys, make sure you make your health a priority. Low T Center will make it quick and easy. This November, be sure to schedule your $49 health assessment and $49 home sleep test. If you're a man over 30, do yourself a favor and schedule your health assessment at Low T Center today. It's covered by most health insurance, and my friends at Low T will even verify insurance for you. November is Men's Health Month. Call today to schedule your appointment and tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. Call 630-451-9352. That number, 630-451-9352. You can also schedule online by visiting lowtcenter.com. That website, lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Peter Navarro tells us to hold our horses with respect to any China trade deal. I don't want to. Steve Moore is going to tell me if we have to at 7:37.
but now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Clouds, 26 degrees. Chicago Fire investigating an early morning blaze that destroyed a church on Chicago's south side. Fire broke out early this morning inside the Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church near 59th and State. No cause released. Public hearings underway in the Trump impeachment inquiry. Wednesday's hearings lasted 5.5 hours, and afterward, legal analyst Bill Portanova says the participants are not following any rules of evidence.
They don't care whether it's hearsay on hearsay. They don't care whether a document has been properly established as a truthful document. And that is a mess because you'll never get to the bottom of any factual situation when everybody is allowed to just give their opinion.
Portanova says 100% of Wednesday's testimony would be inadmissible in a federal or state court. House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff opened the hearing accusing the president of having Ukraine investigate Democrats.
Questions presented by this impeachment inquiry are whether President Trump sought to exploit that ally's vulnerability and invite Ukraine's interference in our elections.
Utah GOP Representative Chris Stewart says the case has zero evidence.
If your impeachment case is so weak that you have to lie and exaggerate about it to convince the American people that they need to remove this president, then you've got a problem.
The next hearing is set for week's end. A recount of votes in the Kentucky governor's race gets set to begin today. Islamic Jihad agreeing to a ceasefire with Israel. The Egyptian brokered deal was agreed upon early this morning after 34 were killed in Gaza by air attacks and around 63 Israelis seriously hurt in rocket attacks from Gaza. A woman in serious condition after she was struck by a Chicago police vehicle on the south side. Officers say they were speaking to the woman near 71st and Jeffrey, and as officers were leaving, The woman's right leg somehow got stuck under the passenger side tire of that vehicle. A bill aimed at capping the cost of insulin headed back to the Illinois Senate. After being passed by the State House, the proposed bill would cap the price of insulin at $100 for a 30-day supply. Blackhawks rally from being down 2-0, scoring 5 straight, and earning their first ever win over Las Vegas, 5-3. The news is a service of InvisibleFence.com. Let Invisible Fence brand be your second set of hands this holiday season. Their indoor shield units can do just that, creating an invisible boundary to keep pets off furniture and countertops. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. InvisibleFence.com. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
With all the noise and political spin of the news cycle, it's easy for the things that really matter to get lost. Sources with knowledge cuts through all the clutter to bring you biting commentary on the week's events. This Sunday at 3 p.m., your hosts Eric Cohn and Joe Kaiser bring you insight on politics and policy, as well as culture, sports, food, and everything else you need, so you can understand what's happened this week. It's Sources with Knowledge this Sunday at 3 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
It starts with the action on the court, moves to the crowd, and is described by the broadcasters and transmitted to you. The energy, passion, and excitement will make you shout out loud. Let them hear you. It starts right here on the Husky Sports Network.
It's the Huskies against the Coppin State Eagles. Friday night at 6 in IU basketball. Right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill wisely said, "The positive thinker sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible." What great advice for us all.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI, 844-HIRE-ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim.
In Lake Forest and Highland Park, southbound 41 is jammed. Wesley to 22. There's a water main break blocking the right lane. The Edens runs 26 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose to Kennedy. Now 58 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 33 from Montrose, 31 to the Express. Eisenhower 58 minutes, 390 to the Burns Circle. 38 from Manheim. Stevenson 49 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan 33 minutes from 95th. A jam on I-57, 167th to the Calsag Channel. The wreck in the two left lanes. Northbound Tri-State delays are Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway's gummed up, 31 to Wyola. Northbound Veterans Memorial delays are at Boughton. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cold day ahead, partial sunshine and a high of 34. 25 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retire Chicago. Tune in Saturday mornings at 8 to Retire Chicago with John McNamara of McNamara Capital.
If
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We've been remiss in not getting to this earlier, but we've been beset by impeachment theater. Jamie Dimon featured on 60 Minutes this week. He endured an interview with Lesley Stahl, who is remarkably economically illiterate, actually. Jamie Dimon, of course, CEO, J.P. Morgan Chase, the survivor in terms of bank honchos from the Great Recession. He marshals on. He wades into politics from time to time. He's certainly been critical of Trump and a little bit braggadocious. I could beat Trump. I'm smarter, blah, blah, blah. But he's also more recently wading into politics with respect to Elizabeth Warren and the class envy politicians that are looking to soak the rich to make all of their socialist dreams come true. Here's Jamie Dimon on Miss Warren and those of her ilk.
She said the system is working great for the wealthy and well-connected, and Jamie Dimon, she brings you up, doesn't want that to change.
I'm not going to comment on anyone in particular.
But she's commenting on you. You've become a target. Whether you want to respond to it or not, you're her target and you're Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's target.
I understand that a person in this seat is going to be a target in this day and age of certain politicians and stuff like that. But the notion that I'm not a patriot or that some of these other folks aren't, that's just dead wrong. So, my view is let's all work together, and I don't mind if a few barbs are thrown my way by anybody.
Yeah, it's just, here's the thing about big bank honchos like Dimon and Fortune 500 CEOs. Generally speaking, there are exceptions, of course. They're just so Pollyannish and juvenile when it comes to their political discourse. Hey, Jamie, we're not going to all just be able to work together, are we? Because some of us are socialists that are in the business of plunder, and others of us are not. So there's a bit of a fight that we're going to have to wage. I'm sorry, I know it would all be great if life was a kindergarten class, but that's not how it works, and you know better than anybody. So why don't you stop with the disingenuousness and start talking like an actual human being who conveys what he knows to be true? I find Dimon's remarks, even though he's a whiz financially, I respect what he's done. Mm-hmm. But I find his remarks and the remarks of people who are successful in one space and then think because of their success in one space, they can come in and start lecturing everybody about how life should work, about how a free society should be organized. You know what? You can't if you're not going to be honest. And Jamie Dimon's not honest when he offers refrigerator magnet comments like that. It's silly. It's beneath him. Now, on things he does know something about, like macroeconomics, he offered this assessment of the economy, much to the chagrin of Lesley Stahl and others who are rooting for a global recession, to take out Trump. Anything to take out Trump. Destroy America's economy to take out Trump.
The consumer, which is 70% of the U.S. economy, is quite strong. Confidence is very high. Their balance sheet's in great shape. And you see that the strength of the American consumer is driving an American economy and a global economy. And while business slowed down, my current view is that no, it just was a slowdown, not a petering out.
You sound pretty optimistic about the economy.
Well, I am. This is the most prosperous economy the world's ever seen, and it's going to be a very prosperous economy for the next 100 years.
There you go. Take a long view on America so long as we don't abandon free minds and free markets. There's the caveat. But I agree with Dimon on that. One more topic he covered insufficiently and in the typical retreat fashion of the pandering CEO, income inequality.
We haven't done a good job growing our economy, and that would have fixed a lot of that problem.
Executive pay. Last year, you were paid $31 million. Too high?
The board sets mine. I have nothing to do with it.
Well, you could return some of it.
I could. Is that going to solve any of those problems?
I don't know.
Is it going to solve any of those problems?
No, but you could set an example, say, I'm not going to take all that money. Okay. I don't need it.
I could. I'm going to leave it to the board to set my comp. Not you, not the press.
You've answered every one of my questions, but this one you're fobbing off.
Yeah, the board has to do it.
Well, let me ask it in a general way. Should executive pay in this country be curbed?
What does that mean?
Cut back. Should there be a way to say we're not going to have such a spread between our workers and the guy at the top?
When you say something like that, you got to say, how are you going to do it? What does it make sense? I think you use the tax system to do that. I would not have cut the tax on the rich. I would have expanded your earned income tax credit instead, which is like a negative income tax for lower paid people. We probably should change the minimum wage, which I don't think it's been changed for like 10 or 15 years. There are solutions to these problems. The problems are real. It does not mean free enterprise is bad.
It's just pathetic. He has to pander. He just talked about we haven't done a good job of growing our economy and then providing more opportunities and more wage growth, although that certainly spiked during the Trump years. To follow up, if Leslie Stahl had beyond sort of a sixth grade understanding of economics. I'm sorry, Mr. Diamond, you just said we haven't done a good job of growing our economy. Cutting the earned income tax credit or expanding the earned income tax credit, increasing the minimum wage. Are those pro-growth policies? No. Increasing taxes on productive people, that a pro-growth policy? You said we should do opportunity through the tax system. That pro-growth? No. Why are you speaking out of both sides of your mouth? With respect to your compensation, who sets it? And I'm not going to listen. You said the board sets it. I return for our investors. I made $31 million, Leslie. Here's the context that you're not including. J.P. Morgan Chase racked up $32 billion in profits last year. So my compensation represents less than 1% of our profitability last year. 31 million, a lot of money. $32 billion in profits for our shareholders and employees and for us to employ all the people that we employ globally. You want to add that context to your discussion of executive pay with respect to me and any other executive of any other company, from the sole proprietorship to the Fortune 100 CEO? His answers are pathetic, really disgraceful. For more on this topic, as well as Trumponomics, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, and author of Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Do you agree with my assessment of Jamie Dimon?
You're pretty tough on Jamie Dimon.
I'm sick of it.
Look, I think the big story here is the way the left is simply denigrating economic success. And that is troubling to me, deeply troubling. I mean, I don't like necessarily Mark Zuckerberg. I don't agree with any of his politics. I don't agree with a lot of Jamie Dimon's politics or, so many of these, billionaires. But, my God, these are people who built great businesses and employ, in many cases, hundreds of thousands of people. And the idea that somehow they are villains is so contrary to the whole idea of the American dream. And the fact that Jamie Dimon has, I don't know what his wealth is, let's say it's $3 or $4 billion, that doesn't make anyone else poor. It's not like his success comes at the expense of anyone else. In fact, the great entrepreneurs of our time, the people like Fred Smith, who built FedEx, who's a billionaire. I mean, how many millionaires has he created? How many services has he provided for tens of millions of people around the world? How many people has he employed? I mean, why do we tear these people down as if they're some kind of villain?
Well, that's exactly right. Now, I wanted to also get to Trump's speech at the Economic Club of New York the other day. We talked about it a bit yesterday.
You see, he recited my statistics about the, that he led with the idea that, that I've been, writing about in the Wall Street Journal, that the average middle-income American has $5,000 more income today than they did when he was elected, compared to $1,000 more income under Obama. I mean, that's a phenomenal number. And it's something that, Republicans use all the time.
And actually, as he explained, it's really $10,000 when you include the increased purchasing power largely through deregulation and expanded energy production. So when you include the purchasing power for the consumer, you really have a real $10,000 increase in household income for the median household, which is so 10x Obama, which is fantastic. And he also talked.
By the way, that might be a slight. That might be a slight exaggeration on the part of Trump. I mean, I don't know,
might be
$10,000 higher. But look, the fact is, people, the whole Democratic line. First, it was that if Donald Trump was elected president, he would cause a second Great Depression, right? I mean, he's going to destroy the world economy if he's elected. And then, lo and behold, here we are, almost 3 years later, and we've got the best economy in 30 years. And we have 7 million surplus jobs. We have wages rising. The middle class is doing better than ever. So they have to explain that. And so, they say, well, this is just a continuation of Obama's policies. Wait a minute. Under Obama, incomes in 7 years went up $1,000. In 3 years, they're up $5,000 under Trump. What Republicans do a terrible job of is connecting the dots, that this didn't happen by accident. It wasn't an act of God. It was that we changed the tax system. We lowered our tax rates. We deregulated the economy. We promoted American energy. All of these things that have liberated the economy. But I don't know, Republicans couldn't sell water in a desert. They're such pathetic messengers.
Well, do you think that this whole impeachment inquiry is going to affect the stock markets, going to affect the economy?
I think the one thing, first of all, I think most Americans just think that this is a circus. It's unbelievable. I'm embarrassed, actually. They bring up these career diplomats, quote, I'm using that as career diplomats, or people just hate Trump. I mean, the State Department, I've been in this town for 35 years. Everybody, with very few exceptions, everyone who is at the State Department is a flaming liberal. I mean, that's just the truth. They hate Trump. They hate everything he stands for. And if they're opposed to his policies, they should resign they should get out of the State Department, put people in who want to, look, nobody elected these people. They're career, bureaucrats. And so I just think it makes Washington look bad. I think it makes Congress look bad. And by the way, I'm not defending Trump's actions on Ukraine. I do think there should be a congressional censure of what he did. But impeachment, we're going to tie up this country for 5 months on an impeachment process when we have an election 11 months. I just find it ridiculous.
I want to get back to trade. He made some pronouncements.
Okay.
He made some pronouncements on China during his speech at the Economic Club.
Yeah.
So similar things he said prior to. And there was a lot of suggestion over the last few days that we're close to a phase one deal. Maybe it's being held up by how much farm goods, ag goods China's going to purchase or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Navarro seemed to throw some cold water on it yesterday, basically telling us to just hold our horses and relax. We'll get to it when we get to it. I don't like to hear that, and I don't like to hear much from Peter Navarro. But where do you think a phase one deal is? How imminent is it?
It's tough. I mean, look, this is really difficult because it's the Beijing, the government in Beijing, the leaders there they don't keep their word. They're dishonest. They keep moving the ball in the goal line, and so it's frustrating not just to Trump, but the Lighthizer and the others who are negotiating. So look, I'm very hopeful that this round one gets done, and I know everybody in the White House is very hopeful it is. But you can't trust these people. I mean, these are bad people over in China, and they don't have Western values of keeping their word. So, I'm not trying to pour cold water on this. I'm really hopeful that this gets done because I think it'll be hugely beneficial for the U.S. economy and for the stock market. But I wouldn't be surprised if this, if they walk away from the table again. This is what the China has been doing for the last 2 years. So I just don't know the answer to your question because we're dealing with people who are not honest. And if they see a political advantage to pulling away from the deal, I think they will. And look, they don't face elections in November of next year. Trump does, and they understand that.
The other item that Trump mentioned that I wanted to get your reaction to was, and Republicans don't talk enough about, in my estimation, the number of people that have been lifted off of government dependency. 2 million people he mentioned, no longer on food stamps, no longer on the welfare rolls. They're back to work. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's an incredible story. And by the way, another related story to that, Dan and Amy, is this one I love. The child poverty rate and family poverty rate in the United States is lower now than it's been in like 30 years. So things are going well. This is really good. I was laughing, when you played that bit from Leslie Stahl. She kind of scoffed when Jamie Dimon said it's a good economy. You're like, what planet is she on? This is the best economy. We have the lowest unemployment rate, the lowest inflation rate, the lowest mortgage interest rates, the highest wage gains in like 30 years. This is about as good as it gets.
She's on Planet Beltway Media. That's what planet she's on.
Exactly. And you're right. Dan, you are right. They are actively rooting against the American economy. They want a recession. These are people who say how much they care about middle class and working class people, but they'd love to see millions of them lose their jobs so they can get back power, because that's all they care about. They care about power.
He is economist Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, author of Trumponomics. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Thanks. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I started taking them about 7.5 years ago. It was right after I lost my husband. My husband passed away. I was grieving so bad I wasn't eating at all. I mean, I just didn't care. And so I heard the advertisements on the radio, and I thought, well, my family's upset about me. I got to get myself straight, and I started taking them. So I always say they kind of saved my life, you know. They gave me back my life. I would say that.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Is your child falling behind academically? Is he overwhelmed, distracted, or unable to focus? Does your daughter lack confidence? Well, it's not too late to consider the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers. For 135 years, St. John's Northwestern has prepared teens for college and beyond within a safe, secure, and structured environment that's really free from distractions, and it's optimal for learning. St. John's Northwestern attracts teens grades 7 through 12 who are capable of achieving more but just may need guidance and encouragement to get there. St. John's Northwestern inspires personal growth through a commitment to academics, spiritual, character development, athletics, and a strong foundation essential for critical thinking and decision making. I've been up to St. John's Northwestern. It's within driving distance of Chicago. It's located in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin. You feel like you're driving onto a movie set. It's just picture perfect. It's a 110-acre campus. And once you go inside, you can see the cadets. We were able to meet some of them, and they're just really fine, outstanding young men and women. To get more information and to set up a visit for yourself, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or go online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. Leadership lives here.
Homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, discolored water, or pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe specialists have been repiping homes for over 25 years. With 40,000 home repipes completed, they stand behind their work. They have perfected the most efficient process for customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialists only uses high-quality PEX or USA Grade L copper pipe. And for a limited time, get 20% off and 0% interest. Repipe Specialists, the no-hassle, value-priced, all-inclusive repipe. Call today for your free in-home estimate tailored for your home at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of U-Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of U-Store It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Message and data rates may apply.
Help! Seriously, I am too young for hair loss.
My hairline keeps creeping back. Receding?
I've got this bald spot.
It's thinning everywhere.
I'm gonna have to give up and shave it.
Dude, put down the razor, because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, is about to give you your real hair back permanently. Don't ignore the signs of hair loss. Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit that reveals all the signs, and a free gift card to anyone who texts SECRET to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Using the latest technology, Bosley's solution to hair loss is permanent and protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Plus, since Bosley has new non-surgical options, you owe it to yourself to text now for an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off, no matter what level of hair loss you have. Text SECRET to 85850. That's SECRET to 85850.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Any prospect for a DACA deal before the High Court rules on the matter? We'll ask Tom Homan, former ICE director, at 8:08.
And later, a coach sued for coaching. Yeah, it's come to this. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
A Southside church catches fire this morning and is nearly destroyed. WIND, Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Another Democrat throws his hat in the ring. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Deval Patrick, who was the first black governor in Massachusetts, joined the race this morning.
This time is about more than removing an unpopular and divisive leader, as important as that is, but about delivering instead for you.
Now, Patrick is late, starting less than 3 months before the first voting in Iowa and after 8 other Democrats dropped out of the race.
It just tells you how chaotic and unsettled the Democratic race is.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway.
The problem for the 2020 Democratic field right now is they can't get a word in edgewise. They're being completely crowded out by this impeachment inquiry.
President Trump calls that inquiry a sham and a witch hunt. Democrats claim he committed crimes, asking Ukraine to investigate the 2016 election and the Biden's temporarily withholding military aid.
Is attempted extortion and bribery a crime?
I don't know, sir.
That's Bill Taylor responding to Congressman Joaquin Castro. The top diplomat in Ukraine testified yesterday. A staffer overheard the president asking the U.S. ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, about those investigations. A call the president says he doesn't recall. Sondland will testify Wednesday. There will be another hearing tomorrow. Score one for House Democrats in their push to get President Trump's tax returns. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
In an 8-3 vote, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit has given the green light for Congress to gain access to 8 years of President Trump's tax returns. The full D.C. Circuit declined to revisit an earlier ruling by a 3-judge panel that allowed Congress to subpoena the president's tax records. The appellate court had already said it would give the president 7 days to file an appeal, and the president's outside legal counsel, Jay Sekulow, said that he will be seeking review at the U.S. Supreme Court. Dave?
John, former President Jimmy Carter is apparently doing well, recovering from brain surgery to relieve pressure from bleeding caused by recent falls. Carter's pastor says the 95-year-old was already up and walking the day after the operation in Atlanta. America's listening to Fox News.
Partly sunny skies, 26 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. An early morning fire destroys a church on Chicago's South Side. Fire broke out early this morning inside Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church near 59th and State. No cause released. Mayor Lightfoot accusing Uber of trying to pay off local ministers.
They offered up black ministers $54 million, a one-time deal, if they would convince the mayor to do away with any other kind of regulation.
Lightfoot believes the attempted payoff didn't work, but says the company will continue to try and stop her new rideshare fee structure. Uber has denied the mayor's allegations. Chicago Teachers Union begins voting today on whether to accept the tentative contract agreement reached last month with CPS. CTU's House of Delegates voted in favor of that new 5-year deal. Police are on hand at a Shorewood High School in Wisconsin this morning and for the rest of this week after a 14-year-old boy was found with a hit list and ammunition. The gun that matched the magazine was found off campus. Criminal charges against that teen, who has been picked up, are pending. Blackhawks rally from an early 2-0 deficit, scoring 5 straight goals in a 5-3 win over the Golden Knights last night. College football here on AM 560. Our NIU Huskies winners over Toledo, 31-28. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Walmart shares are rallying after its earnings for the summer quarter were better than expected. Its sales improved and it raised its expectations for the year. Though not every part of the report was stronger than expected, its e-commerce sales, online shopping, rose 41% with strong growth in online delivery. Retail analyst Erin Sykes says Walmart is taking on Amazon and is making progress.
The fact that they already have shipping and warehousing and stores, distribution really laid out over Amazon is a huge win. Of course, Walmart needs to catch up in the tech game, but Amazon needs to catch up in all of those logistics.
Ford is taking orders for its new electric SUVs starting Sunday. It's the Mustang Mach-E. You need to pay a refundable deposit of $500. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, how would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for an entire year? Would that qualify as a Christmas miracle?
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, you betcha. So it could happen if you enter to win our Christmas Mortgage Miracle contest, presented by AM Woodland Outdoor Design from now through December 20th. But you can only win if you enter. And to do that, go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword miracle. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword miracle, to enter for a chance to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2020.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
8:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and Jim Telemonti.
Westbound 8094 traffic is now backed up to Broadway near the state line. A semi lost load of sheet metal, and it's there on the shoulder. And westbound I-80 is bumper to bumper. LaGrange Road to Gallagher with a stalled semi in the right lane. The Aiden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy 51 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. No savings to the Express. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to the Bird Circle. Stevenson, looking at 50 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 33 minutes from 95th. Northbound Tri-State delays are Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis, from Reagan to Lawrence. Southbound 132 to Bradley. Southbound 41 is a mess. Wesley to Half Day with water main break. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and Steve Williams.
Partly sunny. It'll be cold today, high 34. Clear and cold tonight with the low 20. A sunny, cold day tomorrow, the high 38. For Saturday, mostly cloudy skies and the high once again at 38. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
At 8:08 on AM 560, time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Time to check those updated temperatures. Now 25 at O'Hare and 29 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, luxury outdoor living. amwoodland.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and we want to thank Krispy Kreme for dropping off some donuts this morning.
Thanksgiving-themed donuts.
Yeah, very good.
Donuts.
Exactly, my sentiments exactly. So, patronize your local Krispy Kreme. They're feeding conservatives.
How many of those bad boys you throw down? I just
said one.
Come on.
I just said one.
All right.
Yeah, gotta, keep it together.
One last hour and then.
No.
Okay.
We're going to talk to our friend Tom Homan, former acting director for ICE, in just a minute, and maybe a prospective U.S. Senate candidate in 2024.
Oh.
But I wanted to lead in to our discussion with him because he's experienced these sorts of hearings on the Hill. As arguably circus-like as the impeachment proceeding was yesterday, it's nothing to what some of these less reported on hearings have been like when it comes to the Democrat Socialists prosecuting their open borders policy agenda against senior level administration officials, cabinet secretaries charged with enforcing the law. This happened the other week. Ken Cuccinelli, who was formerly head of CIS, Citizenship and Immigration Services, now recently just named the Deputy Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. But Cuccinelli on the Hill being interrogated by Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Remember DWS? With her Todd Christensen lid? Yeah. Remember her? She's trying to get back into the action here. Listen to this exchange.
Americans across the country aren't fooled by this administration's specious attempts to distinguish between documented and undocumented immigration. You and Mr. Trump don't want anyone who looks or talks differently than Caucasian Americans to be allowed into this country.
That's false.
I'm sorry. Please don't interrupt me. And I'd like the time to add
That's
back.
defamatory.
Excuse me. There's nothing defamatory about it. And
the gentlelady controls the time, and the witness will get a chance to respond.
Thank you very much. You want to block all immigration and make life harder for immigrants, and you have demonstrated that you will pursue this heinous white supremacist ideology at all costs.
Hey, just calling you a white supremacist, that's not defamatory.
Excuse me. I'm talking.
Excuse me. Remarkable.
After declaring that I am not a white supremacist, as you alluded,
you have had white supremacist
nor is the president.
Okay. Facts matter.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Truth
Which is why
matters.
I'm stating them here today.
Yes, no,
Please
you
answer the
certainly
question.
are not.
Please answer the question. How many children?
Certainly cloaked in legislative
how many
privilege,
children
but that
may stop
means you can get away with
reclaiming
not
my
telling
time?
the truth.
Absolutely. Well, DWS was talking over him. You're cloaked in legislative privilege so you can get away with not telling the truth. And you can just sit there and call people names like white supremacists. How ridiculous. But that's where we're at. And that's why there is no deal on DACA. And you had oral arguments before the Supreme Court on the future of that program. I mean, it's remarkable that it's taken
forever.
The White House have to take this all the way to the Supreme Court because lower courts have held that what a president did by executive order, Obama creating deferred action for childhood arrivals, cannot be undone by executive order by President Trump. It just confounds logic as well as presidential authority in this space. But for more on all of these topics, we're pleased to be joined again, as I said, Tom Homan, former acting director of ICE. Tom, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I just wanted to give you an opportunity to comment on. We've played incidents like Coach Cuccinelli had that you've had on the Hill before, And I mean, just what it's like to be the director of an agency, have all these men and women underneath you, like Cuccinelli did, like you did, and to have them all cast as white supremacists because some leftists disagree with the administration's position on immigration enforcement.
Well, it's just ridiculous. Waltzman Schultz did the same thing to me about a month prior when she got her 5 minutes. She said how she wanted my bigoted testimony stricken from her record. Everything I said was false. And I interrupted her. So name one thing I said was false. And of course, she wouldn't answer me. So she spent 5 minutes attacking me personally, attacking the men and women of the Border Patrol and ICE. Then 5 minutes were up, wouldn't let me respond. That's the way my hearings went in the last 2 hearings. They spend 5 minutes attacking us. They don't ask you one substantive question, and they won't let you respond. So as you can see, from the last 2 hearings, I've had it. So I was going to interrupt. They can bang that gavel all they want. Having that gavel in their hand don't make them right. The sad thing is Ken was right. We're under oath. We're required to tell the truth, and I want to tell the truth because the truth's on our side. However, they're not under oath. They can say anything they want to get into the official record, and I wasn't going to have it. They weren't going to make a false statement about my president, about the men and women of ICE, or myself into the official record, and I not speak up. So they got angry, pound a gavel, have at it, all you want, but I won't put the truth on the record. And that was my entire intention. It wasn't disrespectful. I didn't go there to be disrespectful. I didn't go there looking for a fight. But I'm going to go there and not run away from a fight. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we've asked you this before. Do you watch Orange is the New Black? It's on Netflix. Have you ever seen it?
No, I don't watch a lot of TV because a lot of that TV now says, you know how ICE is bad guys.
Oh,
talk about family
that's the whole
separation.
premise of the last season.
Every show
is
I
ICE.
see is wrong.
And ICE is beating
Then
women.
it-
They're
it-
kicking them. They're kicking small children. I mean, they make them look like absolute monsters. And it's in every single episode of the last season.
Yeah. I was asked the other day in the show, I don't know if it was an SUV or something, they had a small child in court, and the defense attorney brought a fake ICE agent in with a fake ICE jacket, and the child went crazy. And the judge wanted to know why the ICE agent was in there, and the defense attorney, well, we just brought him to show you how this child was terrified from ICE agent ever since he come across the border. And I was asked the next day, first, a child that comes across his border is an unaccompanied alien child under 18 will never see an ICE agent.
Right.
They're arrested by a Border Patrol agent, then transferred by a contractor to an HHS facility, so they never see an ICE agent. Their stories are inaccurate. They're again, it's continuing to push a false narrative from the left about the bad work of ICE and Border Patrol. And I'll tell you this. I'll tell this to Waltzman Schultz. I'll tell this to AOC, any of those idiots up there. If ICE and Border Patrol are racist for enforcing this law, because they're only enforcing laws enacted by Congress. So if they're racist for enforcing it, what's that make them? Congress, because they wrote it, they enacted it, and they approved it. So if you want to call us racist, and look in the mirror, but we're not racist. We're clearly doing our job as required by Congress, as required by statute.
And so this Supreme Court case that will potentially determine the future of DACA, how important is this to the jobs that are done on the ground with respect to immigration enforcement and border security? Again, maybe don't get necessarily in the legal arguments of whether this could have been done by executive order and thus could be undone by executive order, but the idea of the DACA program being manageable without some deal, as actually President Trump has proposed previously, but the Democrats weren't interested in, those same Democrats that use these kids as human shields.
I'll tell you my opinion. Yeah, this thing's important because either we have a law or we don't. Either we have a rule of law or we don't. I personally think DACA is illegal, what they did. But I think the President Trump's in a good spot because I think they're going to rule. Number one, if they're going to say President Obama had a right to do it, then certainly if the president has a right to create the program, the president has a right to end it. If they say he didn't have the right to do the program, that puts President Trump in a good position to go to Congress and say, look, you want to fix, let's talk about border security. Let's talk about doing the things because Congress has not addressed the border crisis, even though numbers are down over 60%. That's because of this president and the out of the box thinking that he's been doing in his policies. Congress hasn't offered up one idea or one fix to the border. I'll tell you what, if Mexico slows down on what they're doing under the president's threat of tariffs, if Mexico slows down, we're right back to crisis levels again because Congress they haven't even had a hearing on it. They will have a hearing on any policy this administration passes, like a Cuccinelli hearing or my hearing, any policy the administration passes that may affect an illegal alien. They'll have a hearing in 3 days. But they have not had a hearing on sanctuary cities. They have not had a hearing on the attacks against men and women of ICE and Border Patrol. They have not had a hearing on the asylum process or the Florida settlement agreement that are causing the crisis on the border. Congress is ignoring the issue.
How important has Mexico's help been in trying to stem the flow of illegal immigrants into this country?
It's been extremely important, and I said that from day one. This president's got an agreement with Mexico that no other president was able to get. They got at least 16,000 soldiers that work in the southern border and northern border, so they've really put a dent in this thing. They've removed a lot of Central Americans from the country. What they haven't done is really talk to cartels, and we talked about the other day that you had a recent issue with the cartels killing those Americans, and that's because Mexico is still not dealing with the cartels. Cartels they're managing this. They're directing all these operations down there. They own the northern border of Mexico. So Mexico's doing a pretty good job, but they got to take on the cartels, and they can't do it without our help. So I hope they take President Trump's offer and run with it, because we can help them finally put a hit on these cartels, because they're operating with impunity in the country of Mexico. They always have been.
And do you have any inside information or know anything from any of your law enforcement sources about those 9 people that were killed in that offshoot Mormon community?
I don't, and I'll tell you this. I think there's more to the story than we know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but for a cartel to take out obvious caravan of Caucasian Americans, the leadership of the cartel certainly did not approve that, because they know the wrath of the U.S. government's on. That they felt it when they murdered an ICE agent down there, and we practically destroyed that cartel. They knew it after they murdered DEA agent Kiki Camarena back in '86. So to take on that, to have that kind of brutal attack on a large American contingent, I think there's more to the story than we know. And I think whoever did it certainly would feel the wrath of their leadership, because they don't want the attention they're going to have from the United States.
Hey, there's a show. If you want to watch a show, and I think be entertained, Narcos. One of the seasons of Narcos actually memorialized the Kiki Camarena murder, and how that really extended brought about, frankly, the drug war during the Reagan era. It's just pretty good. I mean, if you get some free time.
Well, I think they're educated, right? They see what we did to Chapo. They see what we did. Look, if we went down to Panama and brought that guy back, right? So they know that we have a long reach. And the last thing they can buy off the Mexican military, they can buy off some of the Mexican government, some of the Mexican law enforcement, but they know once they get attention to the U.S., we'll investigate them, we'll dismantle them, we'll prosecute them up here. So that's something they certainly don't want. They don't want the attention of U.S. law enforcement, U.S. intelligence.
Now, speaking of Congress not acting, one of the remedies for Congress not acting in these policy areas is to change out the membership in Congress. And I read a story about one Tom Homan possibly considering a bid for U.S. Senate against one Kristen Gillibrand. Is that true, one Tom Homan?
That story's been blown so far, of course. I was asked that at WNIL the other day if I would, because they see me fighting them every day. I'm going to be testifying again this coming week. Should be a show.
Oh, yeah.
I said, look, would I ever consider? I don't know, but if I did, I grew up in upstate New York on the Canadian border, beautiful country, Dairyland and Thousand Islands. If I did, I plan on retiring up there in St. Lawrence River, and if Kristen Gillibrand around, I want to take her on. And I said, so if I did, that's where I'd go, just because that's where I want to retire. And never say never. I think she was one of the first ones to call for the abolishment of ICE.
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up in upstate New York. She turned her back on them. She used to be pro-enforcement. She used to be pro-gun. She used to be pro a lot of things, and she sold out for votes to get Hillary Clinton's seat. So I loved upstate New York. I think she turned her back on them. She turned her back on Fort Drum, the biggest employer up there. And if I do retire up there, I will consider it, yeah.
All right, we're going to keep our eye on Tom Homan's political career over the next 4 years. Tom, thanks as always for joining us. Good luck on the Hill. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you for having me, sir.
Take care.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Travel your way with the Apple Vacation Super Sale. With more destinations, more relaxation, and more fun, Apple Vacations puts affordable prices and unbeatable value right at your fingertips. It's all included: flights, hotels, meals, drinks, and ground transportation in one convenient package price. With up to 60% off and instant savings up to $600 at participating resorts. Choose your own adventure in Dominican Republic and explore all the stunning beaches and endless activities this island has to offer. For an unforgettable vacation full of serenity and adventure, Dominican Republic has it all. Call Carey Travel Express at 847-639-3300 or visit CareyTravelExpress.com to book your Apple vacation today. Savings valid at participating resorts on select dates from January through April 2020. Restrictions apply.
Yes.
It's been so long.
You're interrupting my library, but yes.
Gillibrand.
I thought it was Gillibrand. Oh.
Gillibrand.
You're asking. Wait,
it's G or G. Is it G or G?
I thought it was Gillibrand.
Well, it's not duh. There's no duh in it.
Well, duh.
Gillibrand is D at the end, not in the middle.
You know, I think it's weird you're asking me to pronounce a name.
It is weird. I was just
okay?
thinking about it. Gillibrand.
It's J.
All right. I'll
Maybe
think about
you
it.
need some balance of nature in your
I mean, I
life.
don't really care, but it's just funny because she was a presidential candidate, and she's receded so far into our memory that I don't even remember how to pronounce her name.
Yes. Well, believe it or not, the holiday season right around the corner. Thanksgiving is in a few weeks. If you want to take charge of your health, maybe boost your energy level, your immune system, maybe lose some weight, start eating healthy, you should take Balance of Nature. In just 6 capsules, you're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies, and there's no dyes or preservatives. This is all natural. It's made in America, and Dr. Howard wants you to take his health challenge. He wants you to call this number and ask about the Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. The number is 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. And when you call, use discount code Chicago, and you'll get 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Do not wait. Do it now. 800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
Where has the year gone? It seems like the holidays sneak up so fast. As you probably know, most retailers do their shopping in the first quarter of the year. However, Fox Valley Coins is gearing up now for the busiest season of the year. Fox Valley Coins wants to buy now before Christmas. Fox Valley Coins is one of the largest coin dealers in the entire Midwest. And with the current price of precious metals, rare coins, and currency, business has been crazy. They buy and sell all major forms of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, and specialize in rare and collector coins and currency. For larger collections, they'll even make house calls to your home or bank from now through October. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just 1 block north of I-88, at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Sure, they'll buy after Christmas, but they're stocking their shelves now. Take advantage. Fox Valley Coins. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Buying, selling, and appraisals since 1981.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson. You know, our listeners helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. And now MyPillow is giving back to our listeners. You can get deep discounts on all MyPillow products by going to MyPillow.com and clicking on the Radio Listener Specials box. I love these pillows, and you know you will too. So receive huge discounts on MyPillows, mattress toppers, my favorite, the Giza sheets, and more. For example, the body pillow that provides the perfect comfort and support for your entire body is regularly $89.99. But with the promo code Amy, it's only $29.99. All products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the Radio Listener Specials box and get deep discounts on all products, including MyPillows for only $29.99. You'll get 30% off mattress toppers and deep discounts on Giza cotton sheets. That's MyPillow.com. Click the Radio Specials box and enter promo code Amy or call 800-489-0201. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
This Thanksgiving, think outside the oven with a brand new grill from the Ace Thanks Grilling event this Saturday, November 16th from 11 to 2. Head to your local Ace for great deals, giveaways, and turkey grilling demos, showcasing our top brands like Traeger, Weber, Big Green Egg, and more. Plus, get free assembly and delivery on grills $3.99 and up. Don't miss the Thanks Grilling event this Saturday from 11 to 2 at your local Ace. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions. Free assembly and delivery for Ace Rewards members valid through December 24th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Napa know-how.
Now at Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Buy a 2-pack of Night Vision Brilliant headlamps and get a pair of ProFormer wiper blades free. Because when you put safety first, your equipment shouldn't be second rate. So upgrade to Napa Night Vision Brilliant headlamps and get a pair of ProFormer wiper blades free. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
at participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers. Some restrictions apply while supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/19.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, the participation trophy culture may not be the worst thing about youth sports coming around the bend. This story from the New York Post. Former New Jersey high school baseball player sued his coach for ordering a slide into third base that he claims permanently injured his ankle.
Yeah, they claim that the coach was negligent and reckless for telling the player at the time to slide into third base. And he sued his coach. And thank goodness yesterday that the jury sided with the coach yesterday, and he's been vindicated. But I mean, if he had lost this case, we'd all be getting sued because every season somebody gets injured with some drill you do, but it's not the coach's fault.
You're coming in. It's a bang bang play at third. The third base coach go down. You slide and you injure yourself. You're going to sue him for not providing proper technique? What if he didn't tell you to slide and you got hit in that? I mean, the whole thing is so absurd. Every single coaching decision would be subject to litigation anytime a player is injured. Just sending him out on the field. He shouldn't have sent me on the field. He should have known that if we did a sweep left, the linebacker was going to blow my knee out. I mean, this is insane.
The coach is avoiding a 7-figure payout that he was asking for in the lawsuit.
As the coach said, the third base coach, the coaching profession would be under heavy scrutiny for everything that happens. Coaches are going to have insurance like doctors have for malpractice. School districts are not going to want to take the risk of having sports. He's right about that. The financial exposure, I mean, it's insane. It's also a sad commentary on the judiciary, and not surprisingly, particularly in urban centers that are dominated by trial lawyers and their Democrat friends on the bench, that this case even went to jury. This case should have never made it pass motion to dismiss. What a disgrace.
His legal bills were $75,000.
Exactly. So where does he go? Yeah. So now.
And probably you make nothing as a coach if you make anything at all.
Right.
And that's a big bill.
The jury kicked the case, but he lost, and the coach lost anyway, $75,000 in legal bills. It's an insane system. This is why there are advocates for loser pay, or at least pay a portion in civil cases, and I'm one of them, particularly in places like, Cook County, and apparently in this New Jersey county as well.
They're trying to get the school district to cover his
So what?
costs.
The school, it's the same thing. So now the taxpayers pay.
Right. It's
Same
ridiculous.
problem. Same infirmity with our civil justice system.
And they said that the kid suffered depression and panic attacks, along with the pain of his injury. Just ridiculous.
I'm sorry the kid got injured. That's the risk of playing sports. We used to understand that. I don't know where that was lost in translation over the last 2 generations.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll be joined by Lara Logan, former CBS News foreign correspondent, of course, now with Sinclair. Talk a little bit about the media coverage of the impeachment theater at 8:38.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Partly sunny and 26 degrees. At 8:31, an early morning fire destroys a church on Chicago's south side. Fire broke out early this morning inside the Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church near 59th and State. No one was hurt. Public impeachment hearings are underway in the House. The president could become the third U.S. president impeached by the House. The Intelligence Committee investigating whether the president tried to exploit Ukraine's vulnerabilities to get Ukrainian officials to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden. Former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick, the latest Democrat to run for president.
This won't be easy, and it shouldn't be. But I'm placing my faith in the people who feel left out and left back, who just want a fair shot at a better future, not built by somebody better than you, not built for you.
Patrick,
but built with you,
is announcing this morning his candidacy for the 2020 Democrat nomination. Islamic Jihad has agreed to a ceasefire with Israel. The Egyptian brokered ceasefire was agreed upon early after 34 were killed in Gaza by air attacks and 63 Israelis were seriously hurt in rocket attacks from Gaza. The Illinois House approving Governor J.B. Pritzker's controversial plan to consolidate hundreds of local pension programs covering police and fire to boost investment returns, he says, and save administrative costs. However, that program moves on to the Senate with 1 day left to consider in the fall session. Motorola is trying to ring the Christmas bell and hoping to make flip phones cool again. But the price may scare you away. Company plans to re-release its $1,500 Razr in January. It's a smartphone running Google's Android operating system with a foldable dual screen. Instead of other foldable screens that have opened like a book to be more like a tablet, this flip phone opens up to the size of a traditional smartphone. The phone will be available for pre-order in late December. Blackhawks rally from being down 2-0 early, scoring 5 straight goals and a 5-3 win over the Golden Knights last night. College football on AM 560. Our NIU Huskies, winners over Toledo, 31-28. The news, a service of Indeed.com, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a major victory for our country and the president.
Biggest foreign policy achievement in the Trump administration, arguably. Big day, right? Huge day for the president of the United States and for this country, most of all. Number 1 terrorist in the world, taken out by our Army Special Forces.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher here. You've heard me talk for years about all the problems I have with trying to eat right. I have formed a partnership with an amazing American success story, Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating. They've been shipping me delicious portion-controlled meals. They're fresh. They're never frozen. Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating, operated by a wonderful dietitian nutritionist. It's like having my own personal chef. And it's saving me a lot of time shopping and stopping off for food. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Over 90 million meals have been served the past 33 years by Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating. No gimmicks, no fads, no BS, just delicious, clean, healthy meals shipped directly to your home twice a week. Contact them today and get started. Tell them Mike Gallagher sent you and you'll get a special discount. Call Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating, 800-442-3438. Call 800-442-3438 or go to seattlesutton.com. That's seattlesutton.com.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
8:37, AM 560 Traffic Center time, and Jim Telemonti.
Westbound 80-94 traffic is slow from I-65 to Indianapolis Boulevard. Westbound I-80 is jammed LaGrange Road to Briggs after there was a stalled semi. Southbound 53 delays from Rand to Kirchhoff, and northbound it's heavy from 290 to Kirchhoff due to a reported crash. Delays on the northbound Tri-State are Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway's heavy 31 to Barrington Road. Reagan Tollway delays are Orchard to the Aurora Toll and 59 to Yackley. Kennedy O'Hare to downtown, it's 51 minutes. The Ike an hour and 8 minutes, 390. Stevenson 57 minutes, 355 to the Drive. The Ryan 33 minutes from 95th. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cold day ahead with partial sunshine. We may go over the freezing mark. Its high is 34, but a low of 20 overnight. 27 officially at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy at day one of impeachment theater.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it was a circus, but there was a drag queen named Pissy there.
Pissy.
Yeah. But enough about Schiff.
Heyo.
Devin Nunes's opening statement, he's the ranking member at House Intelligence Committee, 3 crucial questions that should have been asked and answered before any hearing took place. They weren't. He's just making a rhetorical point. But the questions that we need answers to.
But we should not hold any hearings at all until we get answers to 3 crucial questions the Democrats are determined to avoid asking. First, what is the full extent of the Democrats' prior coordination with the whistleblower? And who else did the whistleblower coordinate this effort with? Second, what is the full extent of Ukraine's election meddling against the Trump campaign? And third, why did Burisma hire Hunter Biden? And what did he do for them? And did his position affect any U.S. government actions under the Obama administration?
Mm-hmm. Fair questions. One of the questions was put by the Republican inquisitor, Steve Castor, to Ambassador Bill Taylor. And that's how that went, the question about Hunter Biden and Burisma.
Do you know if he possesses any other element other than the fact that he is the son of, at the time, the sitting vice president?
I do not.
Okay. Ambassador Taylor, do you know whether Hunter Biden offers anything other than the fact that his dad's the former vice president?
I don't.
Or at the time was the vice president?
I have no knowledge of Hunter Biden.
But you would agree it raises questions, right? He was getting paid, I think, $50,000 a month to sit on the board.
Hello,
well, and others
Ambassador
pressed
Taylor?
him, too, about Hunter Biden.
I raised my concern that Hunter Biden's status as a board member could create the perception of a conflict of interests. Let me be clear, however. I did not witness any effort by any U.S. official to shield Burisma from scrutiny.
That's not others. That's George Kent. Who was testifying. He also said, we thought the CEO of Burisma had stolen money. We thought a prosecutor had taken a bribe to shut the case. And so he was asked by Castor, you in favor of that matter being fully investigated and prosecuted? Yeah. So why is Burisma and the Bidens off limits? Should they be? Seems a fair question. In addition to the others that were asked by Nunes, there was an effort to also get Adam Schiff to address Nunes's first question about the whistleblower and coordination with the so-called whistleblower. That exchange between Jim Jordan and Adam Schiff went like this.
Just to ask a clarifying question, do you anticipate when we might vote on the ability to have the whistleblower in front of us, something you, of the 435 members of Congress, you are the only member who knows who that individual is, and your staff is the only staff of any member of Congress who's had a chance to talk with that individual. We would like that opportunity. When might that happen in this proceeding today?
First, as the gentleman knows, that's a false statement. I do not know the identity of the whistleblower, and I'm determined to make sure that identity is protected. But as I said to Mr. Conaway, you will have an opportunity after the witnesses testify to make a motion to subpoena any witness and compel a vote.
You know, I'd like to talk to the whistleblower to see if he agrees with Schiff. I'm putting together timelines and conversations. What about the timeline and conversation with respect to the whistleblower and the reported interaction between the whistleblower and Schiff's staff? Is that a legitimate area of inquiry? It would seem to be.
I'd like to know how those two met.
Is Schiff telling the truth? Are we supposed to take him at his word, but we can't take anybody else at their word? That's essentially what Democrats are saying. In addition to presenting your two, quote-unquote, star witnesses, as Jim Jordan called them, day one of the impeachment hearing, you're making a state-of-mind case against the President of the United States, and your two key witnesses, or two of your key witnesses, have never met or spoken with the President. as I said, this case, if it were in a court of law, would not survive a motion for summary judgment. For more on the media's coverage of this and splaining of it, we're pleased to be joined by Lara Logan, special correspondent for Sinclair News, former CBS News foreign correspondent. Lara, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm no longer with Sinclair. I did a 3-month special assignment with them, and I'm working on something else right now.
Okay, sorry.
But I don't blame you for not knowing that, because I tell you why. Because when I joined Sinclair for 3 months, and a press release said it was just 3 months, the media reported it as if the right wing has their darling, as if I was married to Sinclair for the rest of my life. Which fine, if I'd done that deal, it would be fine. But it's an example to me of the bias out there in the smear campaign.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, thanks for the clarification and the example. Appreciate that. What about questions that are being raised by Republicans that Democrats refuse to indulge? As an investigative journalist, what are the questions that you have after day one of the testimony?
Okay, so as a journalist, right, if I put politics and bias aside and I just look at the facts, you have a situation where we spent more than $30 million of taxpayer money investigating how Russia interfered with the election. You have a situation here where Ukraine has been forced to acknowledge, and in different ways has acknowledged, that they were involved in interference in the same election. And yet we're expected to believe that there is no reason to learn more about that. So if the standard is that foreign powers meddling in your political affairs is unacceptable and needs to be addressed, then as a journalist, I apply that standard to everybody. Doesn't matter to me whether it's Russia or Ukraine. So I have a problem, editorially and professionally, with the idea that we have no interest in that. And it's ironic to me that, in fact, it was Politico that was the site that first published these accusations about Ukraine. That was, at a time when we were sort of in outrage and moral outrage, screaming headlines about criticizing the Trump administration for supposedly not being interested in Russia interfering. And yet Politico is one of the sites with moral outrage, screaming headlines from yesterday's hearing about, dramatic bombshell testimony, et cetera, which is really quite extraordinary to me, because how you can say that that somebody being told by a staffer about a conversation where they overheard someone else having a conversation with the president and getting their assessment of it. Somebody's saying, oh, he's more interested in this than he is in that. Well, that's someone's assessment, right? That's not someone hearing the conversation. That's not someone being able to tell you what the president actually said.
Right. It's hearsay.
And how that's a bombshell is, that's, as a professional person, I would never have relied on secondhand or third-hand information as bombshell testimony.
Well, and then Bill Taylor's aide, who heard this conversation, he's going to be testifying tomorrow, but it's going to be behind closed door. And I thought the whole thing was to have transparency here so the American people can kind of judge for themselves.
Yeah, that's just been proven to be a joke, right? I mean, there is no real transparency. In my opinion, when I was trying to look at, figure out what was going on here, Amy, it seemed to me that the closed door hearings this is like theater, right? It's like a show, because this is about proving to the American people that this process is open. It's already not been open. We all know that. And so what it seems to be about is you have the closed-door hearings so that everybody, the Democrats, can get their story straight, and they can figure out exactly how to write the lines of the script. And then you have the theater performance, which are the public hearings. But it's not actually designed for openness, because there are a couple of crucial journalistic questions here that I don't hear my colleagues asking. First of all, is this person really a whistleblower? We sort of blur the lines between legal whistleblower protections and a whistleblower in terms of the rules of Congress, which we all know changed, but okay, that perhaps they have the legal right to change those rules. So I'm not questioning that. I'm just asking more. I really really object to when we as journalists, we pick up a term and we all just use it, right? Everybody in the beginning said Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi, national who was killed in the Saudi embassy, was a journalist. He didn't turn out to really be a journalist, did he? He turned out to be a talk show host who became a spokesperson for the Saudi royal family until they fell out of power. And then he became an employee of, the Washington Post, who provided analysis and commentary, i.e. an opinion writer, which is not necessarily the same thing. And then it turned out that he may not have even been writing all of his own opinions. They were coming from, people who had connections to those who opposed the new Saudi rulers, right? And so that word journalist gets used very conveniently. And here it's the same thing. Is whistleblower really appropriate? Has this person got the legal protection of a whistleblower? And by the way, using that implies that there's been a crime that's committed. If a crime has been committed, and we keep talking about a trial, we keep talking, about hearsay would be enough to prove a crime in a court of law. I heard one of the Democrats say yesterday during the hearings. But is there a crime here? And if there is a crime, what is the law? What does the law say?
Well,
and to me, professionally as a journalist, I try to stick very clearly to the facts in terms of what is it a crime, is it not a crime, and that to me is important.
Well, there's two things. One, that Congressman, as you would expect, is from Illinois, Mike Quigley, and he's redefining hearsay to be synonymous with a circumstantial case, which I think is what he was trying to get at, but he doesn't know the difference. And the whistleblower redefinition, I really like you seizing upon that, because one of the way the media is treating it, the Beltway media, treating this guy who was identified and not refuted by Paul Sperry, RealClearInvestigations.com. This is a name that shall not be spoken. They're treating the whistleblower like he's a confidential source, and to report his name would be to give up a source rather than somebody who is effectively now a public figure, and you would think there would be interest in identifying independently confirming, but provide the context, because that's what gives meaning to this story is context.
Okay, yeah. So as you guys know, right? As a journalist, I can think of nothing more important than the context that is necessary for people to make up their own minds. First of all, we have selective leaks that this person was supposedly a CIA person, right? Operative. That's the assumption. And there's a degree of credibility that comes with that. So you will leak details that add to this person's credibility, but you won't leak any of the information that allows people to make up their own minds. And how do you know that this person was a CIA operative? How do you know they weren't a CIA analyst? And what is the difference between an analyst and an operative? There's a world of difference. You can literally be a kid out of college who's on their first desk job at the CIA. You get put in the NSC while you're waiting for your clearance in order for you to walk through the door at Langley. That doesn't make you a CIA operative of any credibility or standing, right? It doesn't even mean the same thing. We have absolutely no idea if that was the situation this person was in, or if they have a long-standing career and they're worthy and deserving of the credibility that comes with that amount of information being leaked. But the hypocrisy in the standards of journalism is the part that I just really want to reiterate. Putting personal opinions aside, there is nothing more significant than impeachment in terms of the credibility of the president himself. And let's not forget, this is not about the president in one sense. It is about the will of the people who've put him in power. He is an agent of the people, is he not? That is his purpose. He was elected to carry out the will of the people. And so people make this very personal. It's all about Donald Trump, right? It's all about Donald Trump. But it's not just about Donald Trump. It's about something much more significant and much more powerful. And it's up to the people to make sure that their promise, right, the promise that has been carried out from the time that this country has been a democracy, is honored. And so when journalists selectively apply different standards to different things, I expect it from politicians, right? There is going to be spin from politicians, and I think you give them a free pass when you say they don't know the difference. They know the difference.
Yeah.
This is completely and utterly, this is manipulation of the facts for propaganda purposes and for political gain. And it is corrupt. It is inherently corrupt. of the media if you allow those politicians to get away with it and you don't do your job. And it is fair to ask, what was the extent of Ukraine's meddling in the election? It is fair to ask, I just want to say one thing as well that's really, to me, most significant. How come you never see the television footage of Joe Biden when he sits at the Council on Foreign Relations and says, I demanded that they fire this prosecutor, and if they didn't do it within 6 hours before I left, there would be no aid. And my God, they did it. Right? How come that video isn't used over and over and over again? And I say that because you constantly read in the print media and online for television media that there's a conspiracy theory and an unfounded allegation that anything related to the Bidens happened. And yet here is the video. And, you get people like Brian Stelter on CNN, who's little more than a political operative for Media Matters for America and one of the great propagandists of this country and of the media at the moment. And you have a guy like this who completely and utterly ignores all kinds of stories, and yet he makes hay over the conservative coverage of these things all the time. The hypocrisy in those standards is it's a stain on journalism. It's a stain on all of us, especially those of us who are trying to do their very best to do independent journalism and to put their bias and own opinions aside in order to let the process and the value of real journalism, survive, which is what is really a propaganda onslaught.
She is former CBS News foreign correspondent Lara Logan. Lara, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. And we'll talk to you soon. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, original nutritional value. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Travel your way with the Apple Vacation Super Sale. With more destinations, more relaxation, and more fun, Apple Vacations puts affordable prices and unbeatable value right at your fingertips. It's all included: flights, hotel, meals, drinks, and ground transportation in one convenient package price. With up to 60% off and instant savings up to $600 at participating resorts. 24-hour all-inclusive Rio hotels and resorts offer personalized service on beautiful beachfront settings throughout Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central America. Whether you're a sun worshiper or a thrill seeker, enjoy endless activities including themed Rio parties and the on-site water park, Splash Water World. Call Carey Travel Express at 847-639-3300 or visit CareyTravelExpress.com to book your Apple vacation today. Savings valid at participating resorts on select dates from January through April 2020. Restrictions apply.
Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, November is Men's Health Month, a reminder to take care of your health. So Low T Center is now offering a $49 comprehensive health assessment and a $49 home sleep assessment to determine if you have sleep apnea. Low T Center's health assessment provides a complete screening, checking all your levels, including your prostate, cholesterol, testosterone, and more. Low T Center is not like a typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. I know, because I've been there. They are concierge medicine exclusively for men. So guys, make sure to make your health a priority this November. Low T Center will make it quick and easy. Schedule your $49 health assessment and $49 home sleep test. If you're a man over 30, do yourself a favor and schedule your health assessment at Low T Center today. It's even covered by most health insurance. My friends at Low T Center will verify your insurance for you as well. November is Men's Health Month. Call today to schedule your appointment. Tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. 630-451-9352 is the number. That's 630-451-9352. You can also schedule online by visiting lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Your best for being better, Permaseal.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, who's back from his lovely Florida vacation. He's our technical director. And Quinn McCarthy, who is
president of the Lara Logan fan club.
Oh, I see what you did there. And you can follow her on Twitter at Lara Logan. We'll see you back here bright and early at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
The Southside Church was hit by a fire this morning. Chicago fire still mopping up hot spots from that blaze. A woman hit and critically injured by a CPD vehicle on the south side. Illinois DCFS is banning the use of shackles as they transport youth. Mayor Lori Lightfoot still waiting on Springfield for help with a Chicago casino. Salvation Army collecting its first gold coin of the season in the Chicago area. Blackhawks rally to beat the Golden Knights. Bulls visit the Bucks tonight. A cold and